Hello, friends. Nyx, congratulations on being first. And Yaga, I would say hello, but she's literally in voice chat, so I'm not gonna say hello because there's no need. But how is everyone? How was everyone's weekend? I hope it was good. Hi, Arhan. Welcome in. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope all of you are doing better than I am. Thanks for the invite. I was actually invited, not the other way around. Hi, Nyx. How are you today? Welcome in. Going to bed in a sec? Oh, good night, Arhan. Thank you for popping in and saying hi. I do appreciate that even though you're usually asleep. Are you sick? Is it mental health? It's mental health. It has to do with the tweet that we talked about the other day. It's just hard. It's just hard. Separating from situations and people and groups is really hard. So, yeah. But I hope you have a good night. Oh, are we leaving? We're leaving. Oh my gosh, we're leaving.
We'll just adjust.
I was like, we're leaving.
We'll just adjust.
We're adjusting. A pine cone? I will. I will pine
Adjusting.
cone as soon as I can. That is hard, yeah. Yeah, it sucks.
How y'all doing?
We're doing.
I bought a power washer, so I'm living my best life.
I saw that. I saw that on
your
Twitter.
power wash sim dreams.
Yeah, they're coming
come
true. Yeah.
Well.
Listen, it was on sale for $99, and I went sold.
Sold. All right,
Sold. Let me live power wash IRL.
Yo, Green Wild Beast, what's up? How are you? I don't know why this isn't popping up on my chat, but it's all good.
It takes so long for me to load in with you guys. Like, I have your streams up, and you guys are like already in the tavern, good to go.
Because you're on
and
that
just
crispy Xbox.
I think it's just the crossplay making it all like.
Yeah.
Green Wild Beast, how you doing? I was watching you killing it in DBD the other day.
Oh no, you see my background.
So it says this weekend for free emote and flag. I like it. I like it.
Anna,
not your background.
You can't see my background. I told her I wouldn't share it with anyone.
What? It says this weekend for a free emote and flag, then use a gifted skull of Destiny Voyage to tackle the Fort of the Damned.
Wow, the Fort of the
Damned.
I guess we
continue for more.
I guess we could do a Fort of the Damned.
Dang.
The event.
The Fort of the
Danged.
Hello, Pinkster. Hello, Sturfany.
It's probably one of the most stressful events ever.
I'm a walking ad.
Okay, we got a Reapers on the map. What else we got?
A cradle.
Cats in the cradle and a silver spoon. No? Okay.
Yeah, no, you did it. You did it.
I'm like a pop-up
You're amazing.
I'm amazing. How's everybody doing tonight? In chat, in Pixel's chat, hi, how are you?
Are you?
Abba,
are you talking?
Yaga,
to my
you're not streaming tonight, right?
No.
Look at it. Look at the sheep. Look at the sheep.
Oh, the ship.
Ooh, sheep.
Ooh, I thought you said the sheep. I was like, where's the sheep?
Look at the sheep.
Bah.
I'm a walking ad for game.
You're a walking ad. Oh, you're just gonna walk around and be like, get your stuff.
Steph says hello, Chaos.
Stuff.
Hello.
You take your stuff. Hello.
Hello, Chaos and Yaga. Nick says hello.
Hello.
No, you didn't?
Nikki
yes,
Peak?
You did. You said hellos. Hellos. I'm sorry, hellos.
Hello.
Hellers.
It's me.
Stupid.
Heller?
I'll take you out.
Hellos. Oh, Hellos Chaos.
Chaos on the seas.
Hellos,
Yo, these
chaos.
seas are gonna be fabulous.
Oh, look, Nyx.
It's where you sleep.
This is Nyx's bed.
I'm like such a. I hate to say it. I mean, the game's good, but it's not like the best game. But
what?
I feel like I've been such a shill for some of these lately.
These latelys? Hi, Mars. How are you? Welcome in.
Like, people be like, yo, man, what you doing these days? I'm like, just
some Sea of Thieves.
Just Sea of Thieves. you know,
Yeah, you
thieving
play
it.
alone though, which I just could never.
I'll be honest. Some of the craziest things happens when you're playing this game alone. Sometimes crazy good, sometimes crazy bad.
In a game I've never played. Well, there you go, Nix.
So last night I was playing by myself. It's part of the course,
Oh,
guys.
do you, Marps?
And all the time, play by myself all the time.
Dirty.
We're just with myself. So I was sailing the seas, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna do some PvP. Why not? Why not? Get some practice in, have some fun. Well, there was this world event, this new, not really a new one. It's one they brought back where you fight it's kind of like the Veil where you fight all of the like ghost ships, except there's a lot more ghost ships and there's no fort to destroy. They're just ghost ships that spawn in until you finally get to the last wave and then you kill the boss. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna activate. Oh, actually, it's up right now. We could do it right now. I can see it. I was like, I'm gonna do
I'm
PvP.
sorry, Wolfie.
I'm gonna do PvP while I do this event
Welcome in, by
because
the way. How are you?
it'll be hilarious. And what ended up happening is somebody spawned in to do the PvP on demand, and well, basically what I predicted happened. All of the ghost ships started to attack my enemy, and they got sunk by the ghost ships. I mean, I hit them a couple times with my cannons.
Yeah.
But then, like, the enemies just, like, were sunk by the ghost ships, and I got counted as a win.
Nice. It's amazing. It's a good game. It's very expandable. I agree, Marps. I just don't like the PvP part. Mirig, I'm sorry.
Having a lot of fun.
You're the second person who's said that. I probably should have phrased it differently, but I guess the shock factor kind of worked as well. But yeah, that happened. That's a real thing that happened today. Welcome in, Mirig. How's your day? How's your weekend? Wolfie, how was your weekend?
One goal for us. One.
Which
Just
is?
one.
What's
I
the goal?
want to take out a Meg.
I want a
so
Meg too.
I did actually take out a Meg.
It's a quality
I can
tree, thanks.
confirm. I can confirm that they're not completely broken.
Okay.
I guess that, like, the second you like the way, it's very weird because the second we, like, think a Meg's popping up, like,
It was
you have
on
to, like,
Drop anchor.
It was on Twitter, Marps.
What did you do, Pink? What did you do to upset everyone?
My tweet earlier when I was like, I'm quitting streaming, and everyone was like, what? Because, like, they didn't read, like, the rest of the tweet.
That's usually what happens. They read the one part and then just nothing else.
Yeah,
matters.
but I mean, I guess, like, a couple people just, like, saw, like, the notification of just, like, the first line, you know? Thank you for the Terry, Nix. I appreciate it. Terry! Spend one more time that I'd like to admit playing GTA Online. I've never played GTA. Like, I've never played any of them.
I don't mind GTA. And some people would say that I'm crazy. But I feel like some people here would agree with me.
Notification was just the first line of freaked out. Yeah, I get what you mean, Wolfie. Yeah.
Like, GTA is alright, but I get bored in GTA, and like if I play it eventually within an hour, unless I'm like actively doing quests and missions and stuff, I get so bored. People are like, no, you just get on there and you just, like, shoot people with grenade launchers. I'm like, yeah, well, you can.
But I see, like, I don't think I could do, like, like, the whole role play thing. Like, there are people who have entire, like, role play servers and different characters. Sure. Like, that's not me. God. I don't think I could do any of that.
No. What you do is you do what.
Hey, Mock, welcome in. How are you, fans?
Because their stuff, they like have like they plan heists, like personal heists. Or they'll do, and they're not in character. They're just like, we're gonna do this, and then things always go sideways. Or they're like, let's just like play a game where we have to like. They played Frogger, trying to get across the freeway on foot.
Oh
and
my
that
gosh,
was hilarious.
No fun in GTA.
They'll do races down mountains on like certain vehicles, and it's chaos and hilarious.
Bring in some friends. What you gonna play? What are you gonna play? What are you gonna play? What are you gonna play?
Literally went from like 0 viewers to like partner.
I know somebody who got partnered.
Joining, just doing the RP GTA stuff.
Yeah, I know somebody who got partnered, and that's what he does. He does RP, GTA, and Red Dead Redemption, and that's all he does. And he has like He has like a sheriff character in like Red Dead, and he has some. I don't.
Well, I was
remember
gonna
what his
ask, is there like multiplayer in Red Dead?
Red Dead Redemption Online, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I see people, they're like, oh, I have 300 hours in Red Dead Redemption, and I'm like, does the game ever end? Like, what do you do for
there's
300
an
hours in
online
that game?
But also,
Oh, okay.
in Red Dead, there are like to 100% it, you have to do all the stuff. Like you have to do like all the hunting missions and like all that stuff. So like you can potentially put some time into Red Dead for sure.
It's just wild.
I was playing with 7 other
Like,
people. We were playing in private instances, so we don't have to worry about being griefed by 12-year-olds. That's nice.
Cutman, how you doing today? I feel like
Deep
you've been
Rock?
streaming less.
I haven't played
Cutman.
Deep Rock in a
Have I just been missing
hot
it?
minute. Let me
Or-
give the dogs a cookie for Nix.
I just missed you
hold
during
on.
my
I
days,
found-
Cutman. I missed you during my days.
Or nights.
Cutman does do the double duty.
Did you
It's wild. The double do day. You know, like it's crazy.
Do-day.
I see people, their stream schedule's like, all right, guys, I'm gonna stream in the morning, and then I'll come back tonight, and I'll stream another 4 hours, and I'm like, that's a lot.
Gigi, you want some?
That's
Come here.
that's a lot.
You want some? Come here.
You just been doing the
Why
night
can I
streams?
not
Okay,
get
I've been
on the
catching
line?
some of those. I've
Come
been
here.
catching a little bit of the night streams. I don't get to chat as much during night streams
Hey,
because I'm so
look.
busy with Rainer and just like
Hey, what
I
are
only
you
have so much
doing?
time in the day. It's so rough. It's
I'm-
just rough. I wish
I'm
I had more time,
cackling.
chat.
Over the fact that Gigi's like, I don't want your stupid cookie.
Okay, ladies and me,
Look here, cookies. Come here.
my thoughts for tonight
Chi-Chi,
were
where
going
are
to
you
be
going? Here, look.
like usually we like put up an emissary and we like go
Mhm.
around and do a specific mission.
Mhm.
I was thinking tonight we don't do that because we're already gonna get
Tonight, we
double
murder.
I think tonight because we already get like double gold for
There
community
we go.
weekend.
I think
Okay.
Chi-Chi's kind of
Um, and so there's a bonus chance of what's called ancient skeletons spawning.
Feel good.
Uh-huh.
And when you
Don't
kill an
feel good,
ancient
got tummy ache?
skeleton, they only happen on
Got tummy
islands, by the way.
Oh,
Or like you have to be
bless you.
like on not an outpost island.
Oh, bless
If you
Okay.
kill an ancient skeleton, you get
baby.
a special currency. It's like the the same currency used to buy pets.
Mhm.
So, I'm like, if we just go from island to island and just get the random quests from like killing skeletons on the island and picking up messages in a bottle, I was
Okay,
like,
let me catch
I
back.
think that
Thank
could
you,
be
Nix, for
kinda fun.
giving the dogs a cookie.
and with no
if you ever
emissary
wanna
app,
play sometime,
the
when time
chances of
permits, it was-
getting
Oh, really?
hunted down by a
I haven't
Reaper
played Deep
5
Rock
will be
in-
next to nothing.
Probably a year or so,
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, and like as long as we can.
Thank you
like I
for
said, run into a
sacrificing
mech and try
your
to take it out.
points to the Twitch gods.
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
hello, Franklin. How are you?
Exactly. That's kind of my hope. My hope is that we will be able to maximize our at sea time and maybe take out a meg or two.
Okay. First time GTA Online for more than 5 minutes,
Wait, what just
and
happened?
so not well established.
don't
Playing with people that had tons of
know what
businesses,
happened.
just missions for the
I
various
don't know. I
businesses.
was
That's funny.
looting a barrel and suddenly all this
The
stuff.
barrel said no, thank you.
The barrel was just like, no more.
No
more
more.
stuff. I was like, wait, I was just picking stuff out of that barrel. I was like, oh, maybe somebody was picking out with me, and then I look around and nobody was here. I'm like, huh.
Oh, okay. So we should probably stop looting, because
Uh,
Broseph will be here soon.
I had a feeling this was gonna happen.
I know.
It's okay. I think if we just leave game.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys, well, actually, I guess it doesn't matter if we all leave. Who leaves first?
I left already, so that's fine.
Oh.
I left.
Hashtag.
Screw you guys. I'm out.
Hashtag leaving.
Mm-hmm. Guys, I bought five boxes of cereal today at the store because they were on sale.
I also went to the
What
store today.
flavor?
I'm very
I
upset.
got Trix Golden Grams, Cookie Crisp, Lucky Charms, and Honey Nut Cheerios.
Solid choices. Solid choices.
I love cereal. Like, I don't think you understand that if I do not physically limit myself,
Whoa.
I can
Whoa.
eat an
Arcstar
entire
coming
box of cereal in one sitting. Arcstar with a raid! I love cereal. Gigi, honey, I don't know what your deal is, but you can't be in here, and you especially can't be over here by my computer. Come on. I don't know what her deal is, Jack. I don't know what her deal is. She's being moody today. Start game. Nobody noticed I changed my pirate so she's not hideous anymore. A dugong in chat. A dugong. Dugong. There is a dugong in chat. Dugong.
Which is ironic because dugongs in real life don't look like that.
What the fuck's a dugong?
They look like manatees.
I mean, it's just a prettier manatee. It's a seal. Ba-ba-da-da. Ba-ba-ba-da-da.
I'm just like, what the hell's a dugong?
You made that up. I'm hungry. I ate already, but I'm hungry again.
Anyway, let's get back into the game. I appreciate that, Ray. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Let me get this galleon up and running.
Galeon?
Galleon.
Galeon?
Now I can have Broseph back. Hey.
Galeon?
I appreciate you returning Broseph in the probably same, if not better condition that you found.
That's actually really awesome. In a better condition? I don't know about any of that.
Yeah,
I mean, you know.
So I didn't close my OBS from the last stream, which I think was a bad idea because I don't know why. My chat just doesn't work.
Just close the thing and open it again.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh shit, it's gone. Oh god.
Oh god.
It's gone. Oh wait. Chat.
Baba Yaga witch caught the dugong.
Dig.
Dugong.
Dugong. Oh my god, it's working. Oh my god, I can see my chat.
Dugong. Well, hi there. Hello, Boral Usif.
You know, Cutman, I did that. I did hit the refresh, and it like put me in another person's chat that has Wisebot, and I don't have Wisebot.
The gang.
For obvious reasons.
The gang. I'm gonna get banned. I need to stop saying things.
The heck, right? Exactly. I'm like, Wisebot's like, hey, shout out to Chaos. I was like,
shout out.
I didn't shout myself out. And what are you doing here, Wisebot? We've discussed this in the past, Wisebot.
It's probably who you rated and who they rated and who they rated, like the whole 24 hours from last time.
Yeah, it's probably
They're
straight up.
gang symbols. God, I hate my life.
Gang.
Gang. Where's the rest of the crew?
I sent invites. Arkstar is being heckled by Buttspot. Alright, I'm gonna hit set sail. Just so we can get the looting started. And then Broseph will jump in when they jump in.
Cancelled. Broseph is still playing Monster Hunter Rise, according to Xbox.
Well, I'm gonna find Broseph in Monster. First off, I'm gonna get Monster Hunter Rise. I'm gonna level up in Monster Hunter Rise. Then I'm gonna hack the game, become a monster in Monster Hunter Rise. And then when Broseph is in there and they're trying to kill the monster, it's gonna actually be me playing the monster. And I'm gonna kill Broseph.
I'm the monster. It's me.
Vault.
I am in the sea. No, you are not. Now you are in the sea. I see you. Chips, banana spit. Wow.
How? I mean, I know a lot of people play Monster Hunter Rise. I really liked Monster Hunter World. I really enjoyed Monster Hunter World.
Did too.
But it's like the second I got to the end game, they're like, "Hey man, you want to go kill 20 of these monsters to get maybe like a 2% boost in your stats?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's a no for me, dog."
Everybody's so sassy.
Did you play the DLC? Because the DLC was.
Is that the Iceborne?
So sassy.
Yes, it was so much harder.
So I didn't play Iceborne because I got so burned out on.
Should I VC? Obviously.
The regular whatever.
Why would you not VC?
Like endgame stuff, like the giant gold guy.
I'm the problem. It's me.
We had to like fight. I fought him like a quadrillion times, and I was just like, why am I doing? Like, I literally had a moment, like a coming to Jesus moment, where I'm like, why am I doing this? Like,
Jesus,
and
no.
they were like, oh, to get this piece of gear. I was like, and what does that piece of gear do? It allows you to do this other thing, so you can get this other piece of gear. And I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. I'm like, what? I was like, why?
All I know is I played the DLC, the Iceborne, and it was like I was like, okay, I've already maxed my character. Everything's good. Everything's great. I finished the story, and I was like, why is this so hard? Why is this like playing the game from the beginning again? Like why? Like I mean, good on them for making it so it wasn't just a cakewalk, but my God, why?
So there's another game that's like that. At least when I played it, I don't know if you ever played the Neo games. It's okay if you haven't.
I got a logbook that we can apparently turn in at the Reaper's hideout, but I don't know.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
So, the,
I want to put
the
the other
Re-
skin
not
back
the
on just
Reapers.
because
What am I
it'll
talking
match this.
about? In Neo came out with a DLC, and like I beat Neo, like I platted it. I was like, oh, this game's fun. It's a Soulsborne, but it's not too bad. It's very like high action, high paced. So I get the DLC thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm really jonesing for this great DLC story. And like it was like they turned the game to like 11. And I was like, okay, the game was already hard. And then they were like, oh, you thought it was hard
Oh, you
before.
have to repair the ship.
Yeah, I can repair it.
It's hideous.
I'm poor.
Broseph, I'm just keeping my eyes out for when you join La VC.
The VC,
The V
vis-a-vis,
of the C.
ergo.
CR? Oh, this is the ship I know. The smaller ships gave me anxiety because I was like, I don't know where anything is!
I don't know where anything is. We're gonna die.
I was like, where's the wood? I don't know!
Looking for that wood, huh?
I was looking for the wood.
In the waiting room? Okay. I see you now. Oh, I see
Okay,
you now.
I have
Hello.
repaired the ship.
The shit?
Ark, it's much better when you play it with other people than you're all working on your upgrades together, and it's not quite much of a grind. Okay, I mean, I can see that. I can see that. I played with a couple friends. I have a buddy of mine. He is like hardcore Monster Hunter series. Like played all the Monster Hunters. He is such a hardcore Monster Hunter player. He mained Hunter's Horn, which, like that's just like
That's
a saint
saying a
in
lot.
my book.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're like, not only do I play Monster Hunter, but I
make it
main
intentionally
Horn.
difficult on myself.
Yeah, like I'm just like, god damn, okay. So, and as Ark started Horn, it's like just started Horn to see what it's like. Yeah, and they were like nasty at it too. So I was like, damn. So on occasion I'd play with him, and I felt so bad because he was just like an expert Monster Hunter player, like just knew everything there was about the game, and I'm like, here I come in with my long katana.
And,
Yay!
that's how I feel playing Destiny. Like I
am
just want to shoot things, and they're like, no, you have to have this and this and this, and I'm like, pew pew.
Oh, yeah. Last night I got pulled in because the husband was like, hey, I haven't finished the legendary campaign and I'm stuck. Can you help me? And I was like, okay.
You're like, you called me, right? Was this for somebody else?
Astro and I did. Hello, Broseph. By the way, I said hello, but I think you were just like waiting for Chaos to
Hello?
finish his 79-year-long story. But
There's
Astro and
at least 7 more stories to tell.
Astro and I beat the thing that we couldn't beat the other night. It took us like 2.5 hours.
Oh my god, where'd it go?
Yeah, it took so long.
Cutman in here spitting facts. He's like, Hunting Horn is such an easy weapon to get people to like you for no reason. Yeah, because nobody wants to play Hunting Horn, and they just want to see their big,
Did you
their own
see
big
Chaos?
numbers
Chaos,
flying
did you
around.
see this? Did you see what I did? Do you see? Do you see the new thing I got? Do you see? Do you see? Do you see? Do you see? Do you see?
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here.
Where are you?
Look
Where-
above
where
my
are you?
head.
You have
Look
oh,
above
a
my
title.
head.
I was like, is it the
No,
hat?
look at the thing.
Oh, cool. I like that. I'm like looking at your
Yeah.
head.
No,
I'm like, you have
like,
a title?
look at the thing. Isn't that cute?
Cutman, it's because Hunting Horn makes you a god. I do like that. If only
I
it
would-
stayed with me.
Oh,
I
I
know.
would keep that on all my boats.
I
Maybe I
know.
should just buy that piece.
You should just buy the Lodestar bundle and then all of the side pieces for it.
Why should I buy it when
Just
you
spend
have it?
$40 on it like I did.
So I did the Yo 86. What's good? You wanna let me? You appreciate me? I appreciate you appreciating me.
Wow.
it's just an
Hi,
appreciation. fest over
driver.
here.
I was gonna say.
Hello.
I was gonna say. I'm not gonna get emotional here, but I don't
Oh,
feel
no.
appreciated like ever. So-
Oh, wow.
Excuse me. I tell you all the time I appreciate you. Don't even.
Well,
I don't matter though, because I've known you
thanks.
since,
Ah,
since
shit.
we were teenagers. What? Do we have a Reaper already?
I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
Reaper, but I see a big old flag on there.
Great. Which
A
direction?
nice long emissary
Oh.
flag.
Well, I am looting like
They
a
might be
mad
coming to
freaking-
sell. Maybe? Question mark.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
So are we
Possible.
chilling or will we?
Kill them and
well,
take all their
I'm trying.
stuff.
And we could
Are
try.
they sailing away or sailing
I can't.
toward?
I can't tell. Like it's
I
literally
literally
just the
can't tell.
silhouette. It's
Hold
just
on.
the silhouette. I can't tell.
So they are due north from us. Because there was a Reaper. Okay. So it's not a Reaper. They definitely have.
They might be getting further away.
Maybe.
They might
There-
be
there
getting
is-
further.
There is kind of a galleon privilege, especially with all these smaller boats. It looks like they're anchored. It doesn't even look like they're like moving forward or backward.
But okay. Are those lights? Is that a skelly?
That might be loot.
Might be loot. There's no way we can see loot that far.
I don't, Chaos. You got to stop leaving when I ask you how you're. That's true.
No,
I'll go into like.
That's loot.
Cut
That's
man's-
for sure loot.
No, I mean that's a person. There's definitely a person out there.
No. The glowing lights. On the
Oh,
ship.
he has loot on his boat.
Yeah, that's loot.
That's loot. You can see
Uh-huh.
loot that far. There's no
Uh-huh.
fucking way. Oh, he's moving.
That's
I
why
can
we
see
got
his- I can
targeted.
see his
now he's
flag.
coming towards us.
But that's why we got
Yeah.
targeted by those Reapers, is because they saw what we had and they were like, "Oh, tasty."
That's a lot of loot, and that's on the top of the deck and everything. What a dummy.
Inconceivable, right? Perfect. Love it.
All right.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
That
Oh,
word doesn't mean anything.
86.
That word doesn't mean-
Oh, he's going find some rocks. Hi, you shiny
Okay.
little butt. You shiny little butt. What are you
Shiny butt?
doing?
Hi, driver. How are you?
They're like, you don't see me. I see you.
I see you. I like how confident we were when we were doing that thing, when we were putting the treasure on the rowboat, and I was like, they can see, and Chaos is like, they can't see, and I was like, they can see.
I mean, they probably could see a little bit,
They
but
could see.
No. I
No,
pulled out my
so-
spyglass and I was like, oh, I can see them clearly. They can definitely
They
see
can
us.
definitely see.
no, I did mess up the play because what
Doing
we
some
should have
homework?
done
Yeah.
is we should have dropped after the anchor turn, but I screwed up the anchor turn. We
We-
turned too much.
We should have been basically been a shield for them. So
Yeah,
that they
so-
could use us as a wall.
Yeah.
Get
So
behind.
and then just after rewatching the VOD, like I saw you guys, you were like rowing in the wrong direction at first. You were like rowing towards them.
I
was like, "That's not
you
good."
can't see behind you until you turn around, and I was just rowing.
I was like, ooh, yeah, no, that probably didn't help. But
Yeah.
I was like, whatever.
I still touched land.
We
Listen,
cannoned
we-
the hell out of them, and I
Yeah.
was so
And
upset 'cause
also,
they were
to
so
be
close.
fair,
They were so close.
Broseph said turn right, and I did my right trigger, which is left because you're facing backwards in the rowboat. So
Oh,
I did
Broseph.
just like in a
Did
Did you
panic
get
was
the
like,
invite?
yeah, Broseph's here. Oh, yeah, Broseph's right there.
Oh, in the
Right
game.
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Broseph's here.
Oh, I didn't. I was like, I've seen everybody except Broseph.
Yeah.
Hello.
Broseph's like, hello, this me.
We were so close. They were so close to sinking. So close.
I
And
know.
if we had one or two more shots, that probably would have been done for them.
Maybe. I mean, you still got to factor in that for every shot we
Custis,
shoot,
how are you?
they have
I'm
wood to
okay. I'm
repair.
hanging in there. I'm hanging
Yeah,
in
but
there.
they were listing and they were like low. They were really low in the water. So it was just it was
Oh.
sad. It was so sad. I was so
Sad,
hopeful.
sad, sad.
The next
If we-
time. The next
If
time.
we could have pulled
I'm-
that off, I would have been like, I'm never playing again. That was God tier. And
Right, like I don't
can't
ever
match
need to
that.
play Sea of Thieves ever again. I have accomplished everything I possibly
Yeah.
could.
It will
Okay,
never be
so-
better than this.
But I'm okay, driver. I'm hanging in there. Things have been better, but things have also
Right,
been worse.
are
You know?
Broseph invisible.
We
Broseph's,
should just-
Broseph's down in the bottom
should
layer,
just-
throwing up again. The bottom deck.
Okay, so we're gonna hit
One
a bunch of small islands. We're gonna go hit up a C4. We're gonna do a bunch of stuff.
We're gonna beat
No-
stuff up.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Let's do it.
I lost that ship, FYI, because
I
it
did
got
too. I was
foggy.
looking.
Yeah, it just kept sailing away.
Well,
we have
yeah,
a
it got
little-
foggy.
So we do kind of have galleon
Delcatty.
privilege. It's kind of like pretty privilege, except we're just a big fat boat, and people don't want to, you know.
What I'm hearing is we have
Mess
white
with
people
us.
privilege.
Wow.
No.
What did we just hit on the way out?
The dock.
Who put that there?
We haven't done anything yet.
All right.
There's already a leak in this fucking boat. Are you joking me right now?
Don't look at me. I didn't do it.
I know you didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
It was me.
This time.
God. Alright, let me repair it, I guess. This is- I can't
Go
believe this
water.
boat- We didn't even make it out of the dock yet. They didn't even make it out of the port yet. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, I know. We have a big boat. We have a
Here to
big
lurk,
boat.
thank
It's
you,
super
Ark.
shiny.
I appreciate you.
People probably look at this boat going, "Oh, they got the shiny boat money."
Shiny boat money.
Shiny
the
boat
big-
money. This real life money I spent. Because I have a problem.
So we're gonna start
Boy,
off
you
just going to a
have-
couple small islands. We're gonna go to this C4. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Great. It'll be great.
Oh yeah, Cutman,
loading
exactly. We
cannons.
got big booty boat.
Big booty boat.
Big booty Betty boat. Okay, I'm getting these loaded so that if a Meg shows up,
Okay,
We're
so
ready.
here's what I need. Here's what I need for you. Here's what I need for you. If you could, we're gonna start applying some sweaty Sea of Thieves habits.
Okay.
oh my goodness.
Do not load the cannons closest to the stairs,
Okay.
and do not, if you guys could, don't use the cannons closest to the stairs.
Okay,
Let's
why?
start raising sails. So the reason why is because since I'm helming,
Uh-huh.
if for some reason we're in a situation where I could also jump on cannons, those are the closest cannons to me,
Oh, okay, makes sense. Yeah.
and I can't just like run to the very end of the ship and like
No, I get it. And that wasn't
Yeah.
disrespectful. That was just like I wanted to know like what the tactic was.
no, because my buddy Shorty watched our VOD,
Mhm.
and I asked him, I was like, hey man, what could I do better? And he's like, well, I just noticed that they were preloading the cannon closest to you, and they were also using that cannon. And he's like, yeah, if you could just not have people use that cannon, you'd be in a lot better shape. And I was like, why does that make so much sense that
Why wouldn't you want it preloaded though?
because also
Because he could use it
the
to
way
jump.
he just so it's also like the commando cannon, and the commando is like the person who goes on the boat, the
Okay.
enemy boat, to stop them from
Gotcha.
repairing.
So yeah, so he can use it to launch, yeah. So
Yeah,
having to
so-
unload the cannonballs that
I
extra couple
figured.
seconds.
I just wanted to
Yeah,
clarify.
yeah.
I needed him to clarify that as well. He also said he's like, unless nobody else, unless you have another commando, he's like, then don't load the front cannons
My
because
dog
those
just
are the
scared me.
cannons that you would use to,
I don't have the right weapon.
launch people.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, that
That makes
makes
sense.
so much sense. Like,
Yeah.
why did I never think of that? He's like, it's just those little things that some people don't think about, and then once you hear it, you're like, oh, okay.
Big booty captain.
Don't
Duh.
think about anything.
Yeah.
Sweat of thieves. It's
Only
the
think
sea
about
of sweats.
booty.
Booty, booty, booty rocking everywhere. There's also food
Oh
here.
my god, you did not think that was an explodey, did you?
I did. That's why I shot it.
Oh, I was like, what did that just happen?
That's
to
why I
God?
shot it.
There's lots of food here, so we can stock up.
Nuh-uh. That's so funny, Wolfie. Hi, Astro. Welcome in.
Astrolo.
That's actually
Hello?
hilarious.
So we're just we don't really need to loot this island because we're gonna be looting
Okay, well, I'm
the sea fort. I kind of wanted just to come here to see if we had any.
I'm almost.
What up, Astro? Coming in with that hello.
Boat.
I just found the
looks-
prettiest chicken.
Oh, it just spawned out of my vision, but there's a boat over there, maybe possibly a sloop or a brig. Does not look like a galley.
Ugh, brigs are the worst.
Just went behind that rock, but
I want
it's,
to make sure we have lots
it's in
of
the
food because
fog.
the last time we were really struggling with a lack of food. It was
Well, last time we
Christmas.
were just in the volcano area and we were just flying through food.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
Hey.
used so much food because I was on those
Volcanoes are
geysers
great.
all the time, yeah.
There's a ton
Alright.
of food on this island, so
Yeah.
don't feel free to run around and grab.
Yeah, I'm just
that's
trying
why I
to
was
keep an
grabbing
eye on this
shirt.
boat. If it's disappeared into the fog, I'm gonna guess it's too far. So it's probably okay.
Yes, our next spot is going to be the sea fort that's all glowy to I don't know, west maybe.
Jam can. Hi, jam can. So many jam cans.
Ark, I appreciate the lurk. And get some rest, enjoy your dinner,
Turkey,
and do the
turkey.
dang thing.
Okay, I'm full of food.
I'm coming back for more food.
If I could, I would take all of these chickens with us.
I know.
Look at all
Man.
these chickens.
You can, you just need the... You need
You could-
cages.
You could take parts of the chicken with you.
No.
Could. You could take just his little leggies.
Just his teeny little legs.
I could take this dog out right now with one shot. Oh, you're lucky. You
Run! Murderer.
You're lucky he despawned.
Murder.
I
foul.
didn't murder. I just
Ha,
said
is it
I
because it's a
did.
chicken?
Yes.
Okay, I think we are good.
I'll carry you.
I think
be
we are good. What do I want to eat? Before it gets too late and I forget.
Apparently,
made
my
spaghetti.
dog.
Tacos.
Why do you think I'd want to eat the dog after I kill it?
Why else would you kill it?
Because it looked at me funny.
It's the only face it has.
Well, don't look at me
I mean,
funny.
I would be concerned if your dog had two faces.
Your dog
that-
is two-faced?
That could
Wow.
be cute.
I got
Two-faced
two.
cow.
Face.
True.
Your face is two-faced?
snake.
Maybe it's two-faced like the makeup company. Maybe it really loves to be a beauty influencer. You don't know.
Oh, I
okay,
know.
one.
I'm turning the boat in
She's just a pretty
preparations
little
for.
girl. Running into stuff.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh,
Just
is
a
that-
two-faced
Is that the boat you
dog.
saw?
Where?
Dead ahead.
No. Because he was
Ooh, you
not
know what?
he was
I don't
not over
think-
there. He was over there.
I don't think that's loot. I think that is
It's a different ship.
I
Is it
think
his
that
lamps?
is green lanterns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's different. The other one had more stuff. It was more
No,
than
I
that.
think that's the same one. But no, the ship that I just saw was to the west of us now, so there's no way that it would be over there. Oh shit.
Oh, I see it.
There's no way that it
In
would be
fact,
over there.
oh my god. Okay, so those two there's at least 2, maybe 3 boats over there.
I see. One of them's a skelly, though. I can see it.
I was gonna say one
absolutely.
must be a skelly because of all the lanterns.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that
kill
might be the boat that I
everything.
saw. That
Kill
that
it all.
that sloop right there might be the boat I saw, because it could be over there by now. But that one
There's
over
def-
there, no.
There's definitely one that has like blue and green.
Yeah,
and
that's a
bunch of
that's
stuff.
a
Yeah,
that's a skelly for sure. But the one that's
Yeah.
behind this rock right now, and he's coming out the other side.
We got everybody on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the butt.
All right, I'm just gonna put down mainsail
Okay.
because we're just going over to the shiny fort over here.
Shiny.
That's one of my favorite songs from
Moana. We just watched Moana last night.
Moana, Moana.
Moana. Yeah,
It
we
was my
watched
first
Moana
time
last night.
seeing it.
What did you think? Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. It was really great.
You're welcome.
What can I say?
Did I see the
except
14 stuff? Which
You're
14
welcome.
stuff?
You're welcome.
I saw that there was some
Mo-
14 at
Monana.
PAX East.
Banana.
Banana.
No
Banana.
problem.
Banana.
Do you say more bananas, more problems?
More bananas, more problems.
Banana, mo problems.
More bananas, more problems. Yeah. It's true.
Trifling them bananas.
It's true, though. It really is true.
Alright, so I'm going to try to pull the boat up and around onto the other side of the fort.
You're in the way, Gigi.
Put sails up when you require it.
Yep. So we only have the main sail up, right? Oh, actually,
Nope,
start. Put up the front sail.
Coach Gigi, come on.
This guy's gonna start lobbing some cannons at us.
Oh my god, bro, my dog is like in the way. I'm so sorry. Do it, Pink, lower the anchor. What? Why
No,
are we
don't.
lowering
Hey.
anchors?
Hey! Don't you listen to them?
Girls being naughty.
Okay,
Astro,
and now
you're gonna get me
raise
In
main sail.
trouble with my Capitan?
Raising mainsail. Mainsail up.
Alright, so we
About
have
to get hit.
120 cannonballs. Alright, I'm down, so I'll stay down
Oh,
here.
nope, we're good. I thought it was about. Oh, this one's gonna kill. Oh God, whoo, that was close.
I don't have any cannonballs on me. I need to grab.
That's okay. We're not gonna cannon this. Once we get close enough, they stop.
Yeah, but they do.
Why'd you
need
read
to
out loud?
get
Because
cannonballs
that's what you do with your
Ooh,
chat.
there's
I'm sorry.
there's a shipwreck over there too.
Oh,
Oh, that one. Ooh.
So what are we doing? Are we looting or we're not attacking?
We are gonna attack. We have to be on there to attack.
Oh, it's one of these.
Oh, it's not a shooty with the cannons.
Yeah. If you you could probably use the harpoon to bring us in. Use the harpoon on the left side. And we kind of just want to. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, let go.
Oh, I need to reload before I go down. Okay.
All right. So if, we should be like right there, right?
Yeah, we're coming right up.
Just about.
On the, we're just about. Yeah.
Our
I'm just gonna switch guns. The ghost here should die in one shot to a pistol.
okay.
We're getting real close.
Yep, we can see the green, so they're gonna start spawning in right here-ish.
Okay, all sails are up. Okay, we should be good right here.
Are they not spawning?
Oh, they're gonna spawn. You just gotta get on the island.
I should probably change my gun.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I didn't see any with you, so I didn't know if.
They're all inside, probably.
Oh, okay.
I think
Hello,
somebody
ghosties. I am here.
I think somebody may have already done this recently, but there should still, as long as they're ghost spawning, there should be loot in the bottom.
Cat just scared me.
I haven't found literally any ghosts yet. Okay,
Oh,
I
I
say
hear
that.
them.
I say that, and a ghost just literally comes and stabs me in the back while I'm looting. I love that for me.
I just see chaos running through the chest.
Gotta get that loot, gang. Now oh, I don't see any explodey boys up here. Alright, I'm looking
Hi,
for
Parley.
a special key. You guys
I have
distract the
a
ghost.
foul
Oh, God.
bounty skull.
Nice.
Are we dropping everything a specific place? Just right here?
Yeah, if you could drop it near the boat.
Hi,
Like on that
Carly. How
ledge
are
near the
you?
boat,
How was your day?
That'd be great.
I hear you hate this game. I do hate this game.
You hates the game?
I hate this
The
game.
game loves you.
I hate this game. I just like
man, what
playing
happened
with
in
my
14?
friends. Been okay? How are you? It's been okay. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! The lag is real.
Give me gold, you fools.
What happened? Why was I like stuck? Why is this area so laggy? Like right here.
I have to sneeze.
Wolfie, thank you for the lure.
Phew!
Hooray, I
Oh,
found
bless
the key for
you.
upstairs. Alright,
Oh,
so that's a little bit of...
there's lots of them. They're all up here with me. I've got several ghost friends.
You're doing great,
They're
sweetie.
your friends?
There's
You're
many.
doing
And they're
great.
teleporting, which is really rude. Stop hitting me. It's rude.
Is that a Yaga? It is a Yaga. There's Yaga and there's Chaos.
Hello.
And then there is a Boalsef here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Are they your ghoul friends?
Maybe.
A gunpowder barrel.
If they wanna be.
Another. There's
Put it down.
powders everywhere. I did not pick anything up. I know better than to blow myself to smithereens.
We will probably blow ourselves up at the end when the boss shows up.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Pick.
What bullshit.
Okay, I looted the
this
very
already.
top.
Hello.
I did this already. Poor lady, thank you for sacrificing your points to the Twitch gods.
Oh,
They appreciate your...
Sacrifice.
You are not! Every time I go to loot.
Ah! Ah!
I cannot health check right now, but I will. In a moment.
Ring my bell.
It's a very special treasure chest.
Ring my
Ring
bell.
my bell.
I don't know where I am or how I got here. It's a problem.
Hello.
Okay, hold on.
Ah! I got
I'm just hearing all the most random screams like ah! You guys didn't know Sea of Thieves was a horror game?
There's
I got a
so
relic
much fruit
here.
here. We need to get a storage chest. Like there's
So
so
we might
much
actually be
I'm
able to
grabbing
get one
food right
on this.
now.
I got
Yeah.
a reliquary.
I've been bringing food back. I've been bringing food back to the
Where
ship.
the hell
Oh,
is
good,
the
good,
Excellent.
cheat?
I'm taking as much as I can because I'm not good at the fighting. So I'm just fighting the ghosts when I see them and grabbing the food. And
You're just
Everybody
fighting.
has a
hunger.
part to play.
I
And I
got the
appreciate you.
reliquary.
Good day, Arab.
I don't know what it is.
It
It's
is a
loot.
reliquary.
it's a reliquary.
No, don't touch me! I'm gonna die.
I've brought back like 20 food so far.
Well, that's a lot of food.
I get all the food
Food hoarding.
and wood and wood. I'm hoarding resources.
And there's a lot of cannonballs to get too.
Broseph is the extreme couponer of the group.
I am. I'm grabbing
Okay.
all of it. There's
We're
so
gonna
many
have-
mouths to feed.
We're gonna have 102 deodorants. It's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh, no, come on. No.
This is like the Costco
No.
of this thing with all this.
I
products
shot him
I
in the
find.
booty.
Booty.
Booty shot.
Booty shooting everywhere.
There's also wood.
No,
the
I cannot
wood.
carry
I'm
Yeah,
getting wood as
Seaport's
well.
But the
like-
probably is
Getting
hap
wood
right
and
now.
food.
Pork gyoza, pink computer, and the brand new shiny gem. Oh my gosh.
Goyoza.
I was in the
Somebody say
process.
Gyoza?
I love you.
Gyoza.
I was in the process of ordering dinner, which I will finish when I'm back on ship and safe. And all the other things, yes.
Ouchie Fauci, bruh.
I've gotten us like 30 extra food now.
It's
I
so
feed
good.
us.
I'm
feed
going to
us.
get so much more food too.
It's okay, I'm fighting boss up here.
Oh, boss fight! We got.
I beat him.
Oh, you good fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
All right, you know what
Yeah.
would be fantastic right about now? A storage
Pizza.
chest. Ooh.
Chicken tenders.
Ooh, chicken
Chicken
tenders
tenders.
also sound really good. Some chicky tendies.
Cheeky candy is always good.
Chicky
Okay,
tendies
so
would be really good right now.
We do have a sunken sea fort thingamabobbers
Mhm.
over there. They might have a storage crate on there, but we'd have to go there and get it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, but we can just come back.
I
After we're
think
done
it's
looting this
worth. Like,
place.
there's so much fruit and stuff on that island. Like, honestly, chicky tendies. I know. I have to see. I was gonna get breakfast food for Din Din, but now I kind of want chicky tendies.
Do it.
But breakfast.
Okay,
What about
so I'm
chicken and
trying-
waffles with chicken?
I'm trying to
tendies?
position this so we can
Mm.
harpoon it.
That's breakfast and the lunch.
Chicky tendies could be yum.
Yum yum in my tum.
I know I could.
Wait.
I think I'm just gonna get breakfast food though. That's what I wanted before.
Is that
What about chimkin and waffles?
an ancient skill?
Let me
No?
see.
Okay.
because of the ding dang.
86 would kiss me for some cheeky tendies. Oh, he's sorry. He said
Ooh,
nuggies.
there's chicken and pancakes, guys.
Chicken and pancakes.
Yeah.
It's like a what is that like? Discount chicken and waffles.
Looks like it.
If you can't afford the
waffle
waffles,
maker.
yeah, you can't. You just go pancake.
So it's really funny. There's a place, and Pinksel probably actually knows of it, because you know she is from here. But you remember the place Herbs?
I do remember Herbs, yeah.
So Herbs has they have 2 menu items on their
My go-to place for
on their
chicken
menu.
tendies, Zaxby's.
And the menu items are there's the man's breakfast and then there's the woman's breakfast. Okay.
Sounds problematic,
And-
but okay.
Yeah, you know, it's not my restaurant, not my place.
Okay.
So,
Rules.
come on. Come on. It's the revenge. You're just getting
God.
revenge on me. From all those times I harpooned your booty.
Oh god, that's so
so-
funny. He's like, I
so
didn't
in-
do it. I'm like, did you though?
So the man's breakfast comes with, I believe, if I remember correctly, pancakes or waffles. Either pancakes or waffles. And the woman's breakfast came with French toast. Why that came with French toast and not the man's breakfast doesn't matter. So,
Okay.
you actually know. You probably remember Sully, maybe? No? Yes? Maybe? Anyway,
No.
so Sully's a big
maybe.
guy. Chris, his name's
Oh
first name's
yeah,
Chris,
yeah,
but we call
okay,
him
yeah,
Sully.
yeah, Chris Sully. Okay, yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
so he's a big guy. You remember, he's like a giant.
He's
like
a very
6
large man, yeah.
6 plus also like 300 pounds. Like he's just a huge guy. And he'd go into Herbs with his beard that he's had since the 8th grade,
Mhm.
and just manly big man. And he'd be like, "I'll have the man's breakfast, please, but with French toast." And they'd be like, "You have it. You have to say it." He's like, "I'm not saying it." He's like, "You have to." They're like, "You have to say it." He's like, "I don't want to say it." He's like, they're like, you're not gonna get it unless you order it right. He's like, "Fine, I'll have the woman's breakfast." We all get a laugh out of it. You're like,
Oh my gosh. Hi, Rachel.
course, this
Is he
was, like,
single? Actually,
20
I don't
years
think
ago.
so. Rachel, how are you?
okay, so
Hope
I
you're
think,
having a nice
I
stream.
fell
It
off.
is. It's been a nice chill stream because I did everything I was supposed to do, and now I'm just
Very
waiting.
chill stream.
Okay.
Okay, so
Food has been ordered. I'm getting
Um,
breakfast food. Because breakfast
I just
food
want to make
is
sure
the
we
best
got
dinner.
everything out of here because they fool you with all this gold sitting on the ground. Okay,
Why
it
crickets?
looks like we
Wait,
got
why
everything out of
crickets?
here.
What did I miss? No, I didn't. Cancel
You missed
chaos.
something?
Well, Poorly said crickets, like they said something that I missed, and I didn't miss anything. I'm confused. Lurking while I work on school that I procrastinate on. Ooh, yikes. Yikes.
Lurking while you
It was
work.
a response to the story. Oh.
Okay, so we definitely need to get the food out of these hanging barrels. Very important. Very important.
Okay.
Dutch import.
It's very important. It's all fish and meat typically. It's usually like some of the best food in the game you find in those barrels.
Okay.
I got the pork
Um,
chop.
That's why I wish we had a thing, honestly. Yay, school!
Yeah.
No.
I'm
You guys got
totally
it.
down to go get one. I just
Rachel,
really want to
driver.
make sure we get this because it might respawn
I
again
believe in you guys.
by the time we
Chicken.
Chim can.
Gram. Gram.
All right, looks like we got it all.
Gram.
And then
Pomegranate.
we got some more wood left in here, and then if we want to grab
Pomegranate.
some cannonballs. I was really hoping we were gonna come across like a sloop or something on our way here, which is silly of me to think because we literally got here in 2 seconds. But hey,
I believe in you. I believe in you. I did school.
I
I've been there,
believe in
done
you.
that, did that. Don't want to do it again. It
I've had
would, it
people
would better
ask
my
me-
life, but I don't want
I've had
my
people
life to
ask
be
me like,
better.
"You ever thought about going back to school?" I'm like, "Why the fuck would I do that?" To
Right.
myself?
Why would I put myself
not saying
even
other
further
people
into
shouldn't.
student debt?
I was like, "I'm not saying other people shouldn't. I'm just saying, why would you wish that upon me?"
Like I did school and I did I was a good girl and I did school and I studied and I did all the things and school literally led me nowhere. So other than debt.
I mean, that's par for the course, really.
Oh wait, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna.
you really? Yeah, he did. Okay. Cass is a good girl. I have to one day before I die go back to school. Why?
Best
Why
girl.
have to? Why have to?
I have to.
All right, I thought I was gonna get closer to the tank, to the shipwreck there, but I guess not. So we might get
There's
a
more
we might
wood
get a
over
thing.
here.
That's okay. We can come back. But I'm also picking up some stuff. Of course, if all 4 of us grab like cannonballs and stuff, I think we'll be all right. Cannonballs and wood.
I just brought back some more cannonballs. I'm getting.
There's
some
like
now.
100 and I think there's always guaranteed at minimum 150 cannonballs on a sea fort.
That's crazy.
Ooh.
Oh wait, we
There's still
need
a
that
bunch of
loot.
food
Can
in
we
these
get that?
barrels. There's a crap ton of food in these barrels. Still.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need a thing because it's just too much.
Well,
I've
that's
been going
why I
nonstop,
was
and there's still that much left.
why I was suggesting that we go over to the sea fort and then come back. But I just
I'm
wanted to get
for
that meat
it. I'm
first
all for it.
because the meat might respawn.
And that's very exciting.
Well, then let me grab some more cannonballs before I hop back on. Best to load up to the gills.
To the girls.
Oh, the girls!
I don't have gills. I'm a person.
Oh, gross.
Oh, gross.
We can fix that. We can give you some gills.
I told them
It's
I
just
would. Oh.
It's just some slits in your neck. It's
Yo,
fine.
listen. I used to get
least
all
you
the
can do it
gills
online
at the
now,
club.
poorly.
Okay.
Oh
That's
my
less
god.
social anxiety. A little less, you know? That's true, yeah.
Okay. So let's just hope we're gonna find a storage crate at this shipwreck.
Let us hope.
And if not, I mean, we're just gonna. I want to do more sea forts. Like, I'm totally down to just doing sea forts and shrines tonight. Like, I just want to go from
love
island to
shrines. I know,
island
I
and
love
just like,
shrines.
chill.
And
And what?
kill a Meg.
Oh well,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't just make a meg appear, but if one shows up, yeah, let's kill one.
You know what I do want to do sometime, and I don't know how we're gonna do it, but it's one of the only things that I have not done in this game.
All right, we don't need. I'm just gonna put back sail up because it's not that far. What do you need to do in this game?
Kraken.
You want to crack in it?
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of which, I should crack one.
Yeah, the Kraken's one of the only things that I've never even seen. Hydrate, everyone hydrate. Poorly has said hydrate, everybody.
I hydrated with beer.
I hydrated with coffee. We're
I have
doing great.
leather.
We're
I
doing
had Coke.
great. What do you have?
I had Coke.
What?
Coke.
Oh, I couldn't hear it 3 times. Like, both times you said it, I could not hear the actual word.
Cocaine.
Like, you were just like, I had... And then I was like, you had what? And you're like, I had... I was like, yeah,
We got
but what?
We got Pinkso over
What
here
did
just
you
yelling
have?
like, "Just knows what you had. Why is it a secret?"
She's like, I had...
Okay. Question: do you have the word Coke blocked from your brain so it just like bans
No,
it?
it was just
can't
like,
hear
you were
it?
just like, I had...
That's so
And
weird.
I was like, that's a great story. What did you have? And you're like, I had... I was like, what did you have?
it's exactly like
Tell me what
Chris
you
story.
had.
Every time he tries to tell a story, and he's like, "So what I said was,"
And then
it
his
just
mic
dies every
cuts out
time.
every time. Or it's
In
like,
the
cool
same
story.
spot every
Cool
time.
story,
We're like,
but we
"What did
still
you
can't
say?"
hear you. Oh, I don't know why
Chris.
he doesn't just uninstall Voice Meter, honestly. He doesn't stream
I
like
don't
enough
know.
for it to matter. Like, and all it does is turn off and cut his stories off. Like, it's just like, it's a mess.
It's so funny every time. And he's always like, "God dang it!"
Gosh dang it, Bobby. All right, let's make sure all the sails are up. All the sails are up. Okay, let's check out this boat.
But
Huzzah!
I jumped
But-
in. I don't
That's
see
the bad-
nothing yet.
Alright, is anyone staying on the boat? Or do we not care?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take trips back up. Oh, I see it. Come on, let me in there.
What
want
do
to
you
do that.
see?
What the
I
fuck?
like doing
Why?
these things.
Why is this acting like this?
The rags.
Drugs.
Rags.
It might literally be drugs. Okay, let's. I wonder. Ooh, I'm gonna be fucking shifty.
Oh, my thing's being a little weird. It's like choppy. That was weird.
The game is acting quite unharmonious.
Yeah, it was a little on the choppy side for me earlier.
I'm gonna get that coconut. Give me the. Oh, I'm full of coconuts. That's okay.
Does
What's
anyone
so
else, like, when
shiny?
you're sideways in a game, does anyone else also turn your head sideways? Like, you
I,
did
yeah.
Because I
I
just
mean,
realized
wait.
my head was all sideways, and I was like, shit, that doesn't do
Do-
anything.
Do some people not do that?
Oh, I try and look around corners all the time.
I look around
I do
corners all the time, and
too.
I'm like, you
Like-
are an idiot.
And
So
on
is Mario
stream.
Kart.
Hey, try to
Yeah,
put the
on
treasure
stream.
on the other side of the boat.
What side is the other side?
The side that you're not on.
Okay. I didn't know who you were talking to, so I was like, what's said their side?
I had a feeling that you were gonna be like. I was like, Yaga will just know that I'm talking to them.
No, I don't know
No.
anything. I have simple little brain. Tiny. Okay.
Brain.
I'm trying my best.
I found it.
What find?
Chased. I found
Ooh,
chest.
nice.
Go.
I found chest of Captain. Also
You
known
found
as
my chest.
also known as Captain's Chest.
I'm trying to look in barrel, but the game is being wild.
Where's the air pocket in here?
The back on the top level.
No,
It's on the
that's
top.
that's the only one. This is the only air pockets right here. There's no air
Yeah.
bubbles.
There's one in the captain's.
No, not in this particular boat.
Okay, that's what I
There,
meant. I meant
no.
like the air bubbles.
Yeah, there's no
The,
air
um,
bubbles like
the,
normal.
Oh, the
emergency
bubblies.
bubbles.
The boobles.
Want
Emergency
me to harpoon
bubbles.
some stuff on?
If you can.
Yes, some.
I will do.
If can, yes, please.
I help.
You're doing it.
I do it.
I am stuck. I keep getting stuck in the same place.
Yeah, I keep getting stuck on stuff, and it's like, why? Why do? I can't. Oh my goodness. It says open barrel, not empty barrel. What's in here? This is it. This game is.
Uh oh, we got
trying-
mermaids. We got mermaids.
Yeah, I hear him.
Tell them I don't want anything to.
Oh, pretty. I go to them. I go visit.
No.
No,
No,
that's what
no.
they want you to do.
No,
I love them.
no. Brosep's like, I will die.
Oh, I see them. I see them. Holy shit. Oh my god, they're shooting me.
Yeah, they're
No,
not.
don't
They're
do
they're
that.
they're not nice.
They're shooting at the
You
boat.
quite literally will die for
So
them.
they can't sink the boat.
Okay. They're very angry. They're coming in your directions.
Yeah, they're not very nice. Facts.
Broseph heed their call.
I
Bro-
would like to
they're
go
they're
down.
literal
What the hell?
sirens, and they're like, our siren call will attract you. And Broseph's like, I will die for you.
You're like,
I
say
will
less.
die.
Say less. I'm ready.
Yeah. yeah.
Take me, I'm ready.
Your existence is all I need. We're just
And then
gonna-
there's
Oh,
me.
I
like,
got a shark.
"Die!"
I got sharked. I got sharked during the mermaid
Oh, no.
fight.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh,
Are you
no.
are you down? Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
Oh yeah.
Can I grab your corpse?
No, you might not be able to.
No, I'm
Oh,
too
okay.
far too.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, out of ammo.
Oh no.
Broseph was like, I
Wait.
volunteer as tribute. Yes, that's exactly what just happened.
Were you carrying treasure with you?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I had a trident.
Oh, I'm like,
Oh.
why are you so far away?
No, I had a trident on me. I was
Dude,
fighting
ah.
mermaids.
This trident's so pretty.
It is pretty. It's fun. Oh wait,
Is it,
can
is
I
it
get
treasure or weapon?
We can. It's both.
both?
We can sell it, and we can.
Ooh, this will
Use
go
it
so
to-
good on our boat. The blue
would
flame will go
like
chef's kiss.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, put it everywhere.
I want
Okay.
to stab.
Where are mermaids?
That's definitely not right.
Wherever they want to be.
Set.
It's okay. I kill the mermaids.
They're everywhere. They're legit everywhere.
Why can't I get my weapon out? I can't get like any weapon out. There it is. Jeez.
Ow! It hit me. I need more ammo.
My gun didn't want to come out for some reason. That was so
Hashtag.
weird.
Shy.
Hashtag.
Your
cracked.
gun is a little
Hashtag cracked.
shy.
It's gun shy.
It's a little
was gonna go
shy.
I was gonna shoot the mermaids even though I love them.
Now just kind of pay attention to where you kill them because they do drop gems sometimes.
Where are they all?
Where is the ammo box? Suddenly I'm not.
You go down the stairs and turn around.
It's behind the
Okay.
stairs. Yeah, right here.
Okay. Yeah, for some
It's where you
reason
would pick up your
I-
pet,
from Recon-
kind of.
Gotcha.
I think they're gone. I don't hear them.
Yeah, the song's gone. All right, well we didn't get a storage crate. Let's move on.
The Song of Sin.
Should we drop off the treasure we have?
Nah, we're good.
How do I change the light in the brig?
What?
I can't change the light in the brig.
Oh yeah, you can't. You can't.
Oh.
Our blue flame
Okay.
looks so badass, guys.
I'm looking for. There's a couple things I'm looking for right now.
Can you do the one above the captain's quarters? Yeah, you should be able to.
Is there one here?
Yeah, there's one here.
I want to see a Meg
Oh.
so bad.
My gosh.
All right, so we're gonna go north. Just gonna start
There
sailing
might be
north.
one. Let me see if there's one in the back. There might be one in the back. No? No. Not the
Tell
one
me
back
when
here.
to drop sail, Capitan. Mon Capitan.
Mon Capitan!
oui.
Oui, oui! Oh!
Oui, oui, oh.
It's so funny. Like, so here's one of the. I know not this game's not everybody's cups of tea, but one of the things that I enjoy about this game, like let's
It's
take this game
nothing.
and compare it to Destiny for a hot minute. Like in Destiny, it's like, oh, what do you do in Destiny? Oh, well, I have to do the raids now, or, like
Yeah,
like
the
there's certain
Nightfalls
things
and
typically things that you need to do. Like once you reach a certain point, like there's really no point for you guys to go to the Cosmodrome and what's the word I'm looking for? Grind out random, events in the Cosmodrome.
if you have to do catalysts for guns, because like I have a gun I have
Yeah.
to kill with 800 people with that gun. So going to like areas where there's a lot of stuff spawning means,
Yeah. So, but
surviving
like
there.
in this game, like right now, the big thing is Fort of Fortunes.
There's a shiny we left behind.
We need that.
Oh, it's the Trident.
Oh, it's a
okay.
trident? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't see. I'm on the
Does the trident not?
I'm in the
It,
nest.
it
I mean,
runs
you
out
What it was.
eventually, so like there's
It runs
really
out
no
eventually,
point. Yeah.
And it will also like it doesn't sell for a lot. I mean, it doesn't sell for nothing, but it doesn't sell for like, oh my
Enough,
god,
yeah.
it's not gonna make or break our haul.
I couldn't see what it was because I was up top, so I just saw a flashy light. I couldn't see what it was.
All right, so we're gonna skip this big island here unless we see something worth grabbing.
But it's pretty. Yeah. It's pretty.
But I just like that, like, in this game, it's like, oh, I don't have to go do the Fort of Fortune. I can literally just go and sail from island to island and just, like, chill.
No, you can't, because people will kill you.
Oh, people will definitely try to kill you. But, besides that, besides those moments of murder...
Uh-huh.
Do you lose all your food when the ship sinks?
It goes in barrels.
Yeah. I do see a... Ooh, I see a skelly sloop. We should go kill it.
Yes, let's do it. Kill them. Kill them. Yes, Mr. Wax.
It should be very easy with our big-ass galleon.
Our bag.
Bag.
Exactly.
We got that
That's
bag.
a bag.
We got that bag. You guys are just jealous of our bag.
Bag.
We got a bag.
You guys like bags?
You
I
like,
like
bags? I like bags.
Alright.
I like bags.
It should be directly ahead of us.
Like to buy some new
Water is
things.
very choppy.
What kind of new things?
I would like to buy like a new like bucket or new
Ooh, so you need some
instruments?
accessories?
So yeah.
We can get some accessories for you.
I would like some accessories, please.
We can get you some accessories.
That would be quite fun.
Yeah, we'll get you some accessories next time we go to park.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Accessory Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ship out of us.
Down on Sesame Street.
Yes, that's the skelly.
Is it?
Sloop.
I couldn't see what it was. I have a coconut.
I'm coconut for you.
Oh,
All right, let's put sails to half.
Okay.
You know, if we lit our ship up like that, people might think we're skellies and don't leave us alone.
Ooh, yeah, like if we just
Um,
collected a bunch of different lights
Isn't
from
that what we
dying.
did? Isn't that what we did last time? We were just like carrying a bunch of stuff, which flashes, and they're like, ah, a skelly ship, gimme.
Maybe.
All right, so get on
I like
them
big
cannons
bangs
there.
and I cannot lie.
Aye aye. Captain,
All
which
other
side?
brothers
Starboard or
can't
port?
deny.
Starboard.
When a girl walks in with a
Are we
lot
going for
of
the ship?
treasure,
Oh
you
my
kill
God, it's-
her.
Kill her.
I mean,
I'm
what?
not
Can't
gonna-
turn
Aren't those
that
the words?
dice.
Aren't those
We
the
know we
words to the
cannot.
song?
Oh, let's drop anchor
Okay.
and immediately start raising it. Nope, drop it all the way. Wait for the turn. God, this boat takes forever to turn. Jesus, look how far he got. Give me
Jeez
full
Louise.
front sail.
Aye, aye.
Ay,
Grazie,
ay,
grazie.
Capitan.
All right, I'm gonna do full back. We'll
I
keep
have-
the
I do.
mainsail at half. You know, this works out good because I wanted to stop at that island anyways, and they're now next to the island I wanted to stop at.
I will be right back. My food is here.
Hooray!
Here you go.
Good sail positioning.
Oh, I know how to catch the weed. What if I harpoon the ship?
If you harpoon the ship, it will drag us, and/or we'll drag it.
I think we would drag it. We're bigger.
Yeah, it's weird how the physics works in this game. All right, get ready on cannons,
Aye, aye, Caffeine.
and then raise front sail to actually. Oh, and it despawned. You bastard.
What a beach! Burn the building down.
That
Well, now
jerk. Let's check this. Let's check this tiny little island to see if we got any good stuff. So let's raise sails.
In the process. They're all raised. Or they should be.
I see piggies.
Peek, peek, peek.
I do see a galleon out in the distance. Ooh, we got some. We got some action on here.
Yep, yep, yep. I usually just cannonball them. Cheating.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're just on the wrong side.
We might run aground.
Yeah.
Nope, we're good. We're good.
That looks like
What is it?
I got the chest.
What chest is it?
It's just a regular chest. It has gold. Ooh, and
I love
it has
gold.
2 Ashen Disgrace bounty skulls in it.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go fight these bad guys.
These booty holes.
Because right now they're fighting a skeleton, and it's probably a captain.
Ouch.
Oh yeah, it is.
Big boy. Captain Grabbing. He grabby grab grab. He's dead. Give me your goods, you fool.
What is that? Oh, it's her dog. Hi,
dog?
Bubbles.
I got
Alright,
another
so there should
treasure
be a
chest.
dig. There should be a dig quest on here.
I don't know, but I got the treasure chest.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Not one, but 2. You can have this. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
okay. So if that's tiny, small islands, then dig here. Very nice. Oh, come on!
I tried.
Why?
I tried to
Why?
grab the thing.
I
I'm
never
sorry.
recover from this.
So many foods here.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to grab that thing.
We have
Stop
to
trying to
dig
grab
up.
it. We have to dig it up. Though, wouldn't it be cool if you could harpoon from the ground like that? Oh, did you have same shovel as me? Very cool.
The night.
Damn it! I tried so hard to get him again.
All right, stop it. I need to focus here because I'm terrible at these dig quests.
Okay.
Okay, so if this is where I am, that means the other dig is here.
I found the wood.
Woo.
You did it. Look at you.
Yeah, it's like once I figure out where like I am on the island, I'm like, okay, now I can do this. But the first dig is like, why? Why can I not figure this out? It's just a stupid match the picture.
Pictures are
just hard.
difficult.
Oh my god, come on. Get out. Ready. Oh, okay.
I'll get you. I'll get you.
I'm like, hey, here it is.
Okay.
I'm getting materials and wood.
That's okay.
No, it was just funny because I pick it up and I get into position and I look up. I'm like, okay, Pinksel, I'm ready for it. And then she just walked away. I was like, oh, okay. I'll just stand here and hold this. Ooh, we got some skellies.
Left there with your chest in your hands.
Yep. God, that's a way I'd love to go. I don't even mean die, just live. Go about my life. Hand
I'm
in
out of
chest.
bullets. Sad. Rip. Bye-bye bullets.
Rip bullets.
I don't think this is how digging up chests works.
This is very accurate.
Don't question the dig
true.
gods. Do not
Right.
question the gods of the dig.
Dig dug. I'm also salty that we can't use the harpoon to catch fish.
Yeah.
You gonna harpoon me?
Harpoon.
Hooray! Ooh, look at
Can
her.
I have a harpoon? Can you poon me?
Poonage.
Okay.
Okay, so we're looking at the Fort of the Dam. We're not gonna go over there. We're gonna go back to going north.
Go, go, not cry, cry.
Wake me up
I need a
before you
minute,
go,
guys.
go,
I'll be
and
back
cry
in
your
a minute.
tears of joy,
Okay,
joy,
okay.
joy.
Okay.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
Okay, so Shrine of Tribute. Ooh, we should head for the Shrine of Tribute.
What about the Shrine of Trebuchet?
Does it get thrown at us?
Maybe. That could be fun, right?
Okay, where is the Shrine of Tribute? That's Ocean's Fortune. Oh, never mind. Somebody's over by the Shrine of Tribute. We'll just save that for later.
What if we kill them?
It's a little Reaper boy. They could have just gotten it's kind of a weird spot for them to be. Why would they be there?
What if we kill them?
Reaper.
You know, it's funny that you brought that up, Yaga. Because I was thinking to myself after the last time we got into a combat and we got the shunks. I was like, maybe from now on, if anybody on the crew says we should kill them or let's fight them, I'm just gonna be like, okay, we're going.
Now on, we're now pirate hunters. Pirate hunters.
We're pirate hunters.
What if
Like I was like, why? I was like, maybe I should just like not avoid combat and just sail directly into combat every time.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe we become the Reaper of Reapers.
That would be fun. That'd be interesting. I was like, yeah, I wonder if it'd be really funny if I just like we fire up the boat and I fire up the Reaper's emissary and don't tell them that it's the Reaper's emissary. Of course, you guys would probably know. You guys would be like, wait a minute.
The hot second.
But and then just be like, yeah, we're just reaping tonight, guys.
A night of reap. I gave you a little bit of sail. 'Cause I don't know where we're going, so I didn't know how much sail.
We're going dead north. Really, tonight I literally like I didn't even get missions. I didn't even put up an emissary. We're just kind of like.
Shooting the sheet.
Yep. We could go to this shrine that's like right next to us, kind of. I was gonna go one that was a little more north, kind of out of the way.
Mm.
Just because shrines can be very time-consuming.
But where is the Meg?
Das Meg. North is for dogs. Go west. West.
West
West.
Coast.
West with the yeast. Yeezy.
Yeast. We're making bread?
Yeah, sourdough bread.
My question is, why doesn't the Megalodon song work anymore?
Well, so the Megalodon song does work for a particular tall tale.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying every time I try and play the song, it won't play it.
Because you need to be on the tall tale, I think.
That's stupid, because you used to be able to play it outside of the tall tale.
Oh, I don't know. Welcome in, Ribcage. How the heck are you? Figures, Ribcage. One of these days, I want to go to PAX East. But you're not the only person I've heard, Ribcage, that says that PAX East was getting worse and worse. I was like, damn, one of these days I'm going to do PAX East. It'll be fun. And it just so happens that they're doing PAX East this year, and the director of Final Fantasy XIV is there, and like I'm seeing all these photos, and I was like, oh, PAX East looks pretty good this year. So I'm like really sad. I'm really sad that I didn't decide to go this year. Maybe I'll go next year. No, Ribbit definitely looks really good. It looks like they did a really good job this year. RE4. Now, RE4, are you guys playing Resident Evil 4? Is that like a remake or a remaster, or is it just the same game but looks better?
Yeah, it's a remaster. So they made it all pretty and I think better like quality of life updates and stuff like that. So it's gonna be good looking.
Nice. Yeah, I know a lot of people are playing like the demo right now, or is it like out? Oh, let's go to this outpost. I'm gonna buy a storage crate. Since the Skelly Galleons and Skelly Sloops don't want to play with us. It's a remake and it's out. Oh, I saw a lot of people playing the demo, so I'm guessing the remake came out and like as like a 2-week hypeathon. You know how games will do that sometimes? They release the demo and then like a month later they're like, and here's the game! They change a little bit of stuff to keep it fresh. Well, it's like, I kind of like it when they do that, because it's like when, whatchamacallit, when you got, Ocarina of Time for the GameCube, like, they didn't really change anything, but they, like, reversed the maps. So, like, if you got really good on the 64, playing, Ocarina of Time, like, you'd have to, like, kind of reacquaint yourself with the game a little bit, because instead of, like, oh, I gotta go 2 rights and a left in order to get through the Shadow Zone, it's like, no, it's 2 lefts and a right this time, jackass.
Shadow makes me think of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, let's get these sails up.
Ogie.
There's narrative stuff.
You got
Oh.
a milestone for playing sweet tunes on board.
The Rogue. I wonder. Oh, the Rogue. Nice, nice. And we have the Rogue flags. Cool. The more accommodations I get on this boat, the better, because then I can buy another galleon and call it the Pleasure Cruise. Maybe I'll name it Pinksel's Pleasure Cruise.
Blue, it's like a mood down there if you go below deck. It's like a mood room.
It's very sensual.
Yeah. Setting the mood for.
Oh, you know what? While we're here, we can
cooking.
sell stuff.
That works out. We like selling
Alright.
things.
We
Probably
love
should
to
have parked
sell.
on the. Probably should have
I-
parked on the other side then.
I
Yeah.
can sell my gold reliquary.
Oh, is that your reliquary? I dropped it up the side. I got scared. I thought it was haunted.
No, it's my reliquary. It's my required reliquary.
Respectfully.
Iggy, thank you so much for the raid. How are you? What did you stream?
Ooh, what's that? It's
How
probably a
was
book.
your weekend? Thank you, Poorly. I appreciate that.
Okay. Okay,
I'm back.
so
On the side.
let's see. Nope. Oop, I did the wrong thing. So let's browse resources. I will get. How many storage crates do you think we need? 2?
2 seems
Probably
good.
2, yeah.
Okay,
Shazam
only let me
and
buy one.
Ant-Man? I haven't seen either of them yet.
Oh, probably because I have
Joseph,
to,
I like your spoon. Your spoon.
You got a spoon?
Thank you.
Hey guys, you want a spoon?
I'm spooning.
Spooning.
Okay, so we can drain this place of stuff with the
Are
storage.
we
crate.
selling or no?
We can sell stuff.
I'm
I just parked this on the
selling
wrong
mine.
side. We're gonna have to sell the old-fashioned way.
Oh my gosh.
86, you want a spoon? I'll spoon you, bruh.
Whoa.
833 gold did.
Respectfully.
Both pretty good, just some goofy superhero times. Which one did you like better? Which
Yeah,
one
it's
did you
only
think
letting
was
me
better?
get the one. It's only letting me get the one.
So I can probably get one, right?
I don't know.
Did you know even though I have
I-
no
I-
money because we got robbed that one time.
Who's there?
All right, I'm buying some
understand.
supplies for us as well.
Where do we sell the
Maybe
book?
Shazam, but very close.
Oh, the book we have to sell at Reapers.
Okay, because the book's on the dock. I don't know.
Yeah, I put it there because I was gonna harpoon it.
Oh no, I can't
started
either.
Looting Island.
I can't buy another one either.
That's all right. I just bought some supplies that go directly into the barrel, anyways. So
Heckin' robbed. Yeah, that was a rough one. That was a rough one for sure. Last time we played, and I touched land with that rowboat.
You
and
touched
they
land.
sniped me.
that's a win for me. I feel like that's a win.
Yeah.
You touched it so hard. Yeah. Yeah.
Glitterbeard.
Ooh.
Okay.
Do we want to
Selling
harpoon
the
and
old
just pull us
fashioned.
a little angled?
Well, you know, I'm really thinking that I should just take the boat all the way around to the Sovereigns so we can just sell at Sovereigns.
So this is good, but it's hard. I've never played it, Iggy. But I've heard it's on the tougher side for sure.
Is there
somebody
stuff
wanna
to
take-
shop for here?
Does somebody want
Yeah, you
to?
can go in any of the shops if you want clothes or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Does somebody want to take this storage crate and
Yep.
loot this island while I move the boat?
Where's the storage crate?
Right here.
I
where
left
I
it.
am.
on the
Can I
deck.
get it?
Well, we're
Where's
gonna. I mean, we're gonna use it to loot the island.
I know, but I was just gonna have it in my hands, but it's fine. I'll come
Oh.
get it. I'll come get it. I've heard it's so hard, yeah.
What's so
I-
hard?
Celeste.
What is Celeste?
A
Like the
game.
pizza?
No.
Mama.
Game.
That's like one of my favorite trash pizzas.
Oh my
Celeste?
god. Celeste pizza? And you take a look. You gotta put extra cheese on it, of course. So you get a little extra cheese, and then you fold it like a taco. Perfect.
It's good, but so good. You said it took just a little under 7 hours. That's insane.
I just popped my jaw. Ow.
Popped your jaw.
That's I'm gonna assume that's not the first time you played that, right, Iggy? If you were able to play it in one sitting, it's probably not the first time.
Can you drop front sail?
Sure can.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, smidge.
Just a little bit.
I should do. I smidged it.
This is the first
I
time I
didn't
played the
turn
whole
it.
thing. I see.
See if I can turn it. I don't want to turn
More
it
like
completely.
say less pizza. Oh my god, I love pizza.
I love pizza. I just love food in general.
So, Kels has been like, I don't know why, and I'm not trying to judge. All right,
Really good at
but
platforming. It's nice.
I'm trying to judge a little bit.
Mhm.
She's been on a Papa John's kick,
Damn.
and that's like my least favorite pizza. The sauce is too sweet.
What's your favorite pizza?
Well, I mean, I live like down the street from Recovery Room and Ocean Pizza.
Recovery
And-
Room is pretty good.
Yeah, like, I'm not trying to be a snob. Like, I'm not like against ordering Domino's, you know?
I love
Mm.
Domino's.
Like, I think Domino's is a solid, like, fast food, like, pizza. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm super biased. Like, I don't like Iliano's, and everyone loves Iliano's, and I'm like, ugh.
Iliano's is alright. I mean, I'm with you, though. I think they're a little overrated.
I don't like their sauce. I don't like their crust. Like, there's so much about Iliano's that I'm not a fan of. Come over and have a slice? Oh my gosh. All right, everyone go to Iggy's
Say
house.
less.
They're making
Everybody-
pizza.
Everybody turn off your games. We're going to Iggy's for pizza.
Yeah, we're going to Iggy's for pizza. Everyone log off. Good night. Stream's over.
Woo.
Iggy, I would like extra cheese, please.
Pepperoni, extra cheese, light sauce, thanks. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, race sale?
I'm in shops, but I can just catch a mermaid or something.
No, they're just
Oh, no,
bringing
no,
the boat
we're-
around. They're not leaving.
Yeah, we're not leaving.
Or lining the boat up.
Portly wants extra cheese.
Extra
Yeah.
cheese? I have never.
Alright,
But now I
think
kinda
I'm
want to.
good now.
I want some crust with my cheese, please.
Because of the marathon stream? Well, it looks like it's time for some pizza. It's pizza time.
Huzzah! Pizza's
like-
such a perfect food.
It is.
I like
God,
Ruby,
pizza's
that's really
so good.
unfortunate. You live in New England. You're supposed to have some of the best
Fabulous.
pizza ever. But you know what? Connecticut does do pizza pretty well.
I mean, we
It's
have
all that
like
tax money.
we have
It's all that tax money.
we have the one of the best pizza places in the United States, according to Guy Fieri.
I love Guy
We have
Fieri.
Pepe's. We have Frank Pepe's.
Pepe's, you know, here's the thing with Pepe's though. And so, and don't kill me, people, but if you guys knew, you would know. So, the thing about Pepe's is the second you buy the pizza and you step out of the store, it's garbage. Maybe garbage is too strong of a word, but it's not as good.
Yeah.
You gotta, when you have Frank Pepe's pizza, it's like you gotta sit down and eat it there immediately.
Yeah.
Because the second,
You can't
I
take
used
a
to work
Pepe's
in a-
pizza home, yeah.
yeah, and I used to work there, as Pinksel knows, where at the casino where they had Pepe's,
Yeah.
and basically I would buy Pepe's for my office, walk it to my office, and I could immediately tell just the walk from Pepe's to, and don't sell those treasure chests when you're
I'm
done.
not. I set them aside.
Cool. This I would notice, and it was not even like a 5-minute walk from Pepe's to my office, and I could just tell. I'm like, yeah, this
It's
is
like
not as
literally
good.
sagging as you're walking.
Yeah, it's just like,
I sold
Oh,
the
you
stuff
didn't
in
make
them,
the
but I didn't
crust?
sell them.
yeah, we should probably keep, 3 works. Keeping 3.
I think I got
If we
all
have
this
more
stuff,
than 3,
actually.
we'll sell the other ones.
No,
we
those
get
are the
more.
those are the ones we have for now. So I think that is solid. Oh, we had a rogue gem in here. I gotta sell.
Did you sell your reliquary?
I did. It was the first thing I sold was a reliquary.
Listen,
Okay, we got
Poorly,
plenty of.
I
we got
only
plenty
take
of.
recommendations for restaurants from Guy Fieri.
Yeah, I called up my little guy and I was like, "Yo, guy, where should I eat tonight?"
Yo,
And
Guy,
he's
what
like,
should I order
got
for
you,
dinner?
fam.
And he's like, you know what?
You know what?
You know what?
Have a
You
little of
should
this, a little bit of that.
You should go to this drive-in, dive-in, and dumpster that I've eaten at, and this is what you should get. And I'd be like, thanks, Guy. I don't like any of that food. And he'd be like,
Thanks, guy.
thanks, Guy.
Wait, is this undercooked? Is this not cooked? It looks cooked. I hate cooking the snake in this game.
Okay, sure.
Poorly has called for a crew-wide hydrate.
What? That means I gotta. Oh,
Glug,
oh shit.
glug.
What time is
Time
it?
for some grog.
9:30. I didn't. I forgot I had cosmic dust made.
Oh
Is
my
it too
gosh.
late to drink cosmic dust right now?
Probably.
Wait, why did our hunter's call just go up?
What did we sell?
Guessing somebody sold some meat. Let's
no
not.
idea.
What, did we have a
Or do
chest
I-
that had something in it?
Maybe. Or do we get hunter's call rep for cooking now?
Oh, maybe.
Joseph, don't flood the boat.
I got a new grog cup. It's
Duh,
on.
grog.
I would like to
It's
see the
on.
boat get flooded from everyone drinking too much. Oh my gosh. That would be pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the plan is we're gonna go to Trader's Fate Fortress. After we beat the fortress, we're then gonna go to the Shrine of Hungering.
Okay.
Actually, we're gonna do like a weird little zigzag. We're gonna go to Plunder's Plight, then Trader's Fate Fortress, then Blackwater Enclave, then Shrine of Hungering.
I will never remember any of that, but okay.
There's a test.
No, I failed already.
We go to shrine, then shrine, then shrine, then shrine.
I didn't bring a pencil.
Okay, let me know when everybody is on boat and ready to go.
I'm ready.
I am on boat and
I
ready
am.
to go.
I am on boat.
You're on the boat.
On the boat.
Okay, let me finish cooking the chicken that I started.
I'm changing all my equipment to my brand new fun stuff.
Thanks for everybody being here tonight, by the way. Thank you, Yaga and Broseth and Pixel for
Thanks.
joining me on this pleasure cruise.
Thanks
course.
For the
Yeah.
invite.
And thank you to
guess.
the viewers, not just my own, but also Pixel's. Shout out to you
Oh
guys.
my gosh. Who said you could address my chat?
Chat, attack. Code word
Mutiny!
pineapple. Go.
Mutiny!
Look at my grog cup before I get too drunk.
Let me
to
see.
Show you.
Let me see. Oh my gosh, we are twins!
We have same one.
Wait, yay, look at me.
Look at- Oh, we got the same one.
We
Look
had the
it.
Kraken set, yeah. That's sames.
I liked it. It was
The
pink.
samesies?
Sames is.
Okay, so north.
Oh my
When?
this is different. I've been perceived. Time to go. Why?
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Oh, there's my lantern.
I need to actually. I gotta see what grog cups
Oh,
I
that's a
have. I
cool
don't-
lantern.
And look at my bucket.
That's a cool bucket.
Thank you.
Mm-mm-mm.
Why does your girl always look like she's chewing on something?
It's just flame behind. Yours does
She's
too.
always eating, okay?
Oh,
yeah,
yours-
yours is too.
They all do.
Really?
They're always chewing. Yeah.
That's so weird.
It's
That-
so
They're,
weird.
isn't there something that pirates used to chew on like all the time?
Uh,
Like it was supposed to keep them from like getting too hungry, but it didn't actually feed them.
I don't know.
Did they used to chew on blubber?
That seems weird, but I don't know. Instead of doing video games, I'm trying to figure out which poke is worth for Scarvi shiny hat.
Okay, so not too much
Um,
sales because we're gonna be in very tight, very
Go
tight on all these different
for-
spots. All right, so we're gonna go a little north,
all right, there you go.
I should make Pinksel do all of the sailing.
Watch me log out.
You're like, fam, bet, check it.
Mm-hmm. When y'all beat a game, do you also go and watch a speedrun on it to see how good it could be done? Not a speedrun, but I'll like deep dive and I'll like go on the wiki and I'll like look up everything and everything that I could have missed or whatever. Not a speedrun, but I definitely like kind of deep dive into games after I finish them. Ooh.
I
don't have any
I
fishing
love
rod,
when
though.
you finish a game. Well, I love and hate it. I love when you finish a game and you're like, okay, let's go check to see if there's like any weird lore stuff that I missed. And it's like, oh yeah, you missed a lot. And it's like,
you missed so much, and I'm like, wait.
yeah, it's like, oh,
wait,
so I guess that means I
what?
can play some more of it, I guess.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, you're like, how did I miss these things?
Like when I played The Last of Us for the first time, I felt like I did a decent job at like finding stuff and like going through and reading everything. And then at the end of the game, it gives you like the collectibles collected in each level, and it would be like 1 of 5, like 2 of 7, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I thought I did really good looking for stuff.
Like in one hand, you're like, oh, okay. Especially if the game is good, you know, you're like, oh, okay. I'll just go, I'll play the game again. But like, there's times you look something up, they're like, oh, well, you didn't do a 360. Yeah, like I hate when they say like you missed something really stupid.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, you didn't pet the dog in the beginning, and you're like,
Like that's what
okay,
like did you guys ever see the movie Ready Player One?
yeah.
Okay, so you know how like spoilers if you haven't seen it, but you know how like one of the puzzles is like what the first Easter egg in a game is, and it's like, you know, that dot game adventure or whatever where you like go back to the beginning and you find like a secret dot. Like who are the first people to find Easter eggs? You know, like who are the first people to go and be like, I'm gonna try this random fucking thing? Like
Yeah,
I wonder
hate
that
when
sometimes in Destiny, like when Nate used to take me through like dungeons and stuff in Destiny, and he'd be like, there's an item if you go do this and this and this and this and this, and I'm like, how did somebody figure out how to do
I
that?
hate that. I hate when they're like, okay, so like the Zelda game, like that in, I think it's Link to a Past.
Yeah.
There's like some random thing, like if you jump off the balcony, the second floor balcony, pause it, exit the game and re-enter the game, and then you go back in the game, and then you go down this hallway. There's a secret door that you can walk through that's like it's not even like a door, it's just like you just happen to like walk into this wall and you can walk through it, and then it fast forwards you to the end of the game. It's like, who the fuck figured that out?
That's what I'm saying. Like somebody had to figure that out the first time. Watched it, read the book, listened to the audiobook. It's pretty mindless fun. My guilty pleasure. Oh, I love it. I have not read Ready Player 2 though.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a sequel.
I remember like somebody had like, I think somebody mentioned that they were thinking about making another movie.
Yeah. Well, there's a second book.
I was gonna say, is it based off a book?
Based
Okay,
on-
so
it's Ready
let's see.
Player
Is there
One.
anything on this island worth grabbing? Now we gotta be careful because it is raining and the boat will fill up with water.
Okay.
I'm just gonna jump over to this island real quick.
That island? Oh yeah, okay. Oh, we're spinning.
Yeah, the
storm?
It's gonna. Yeah, I don't know if we should drop anchor. I don't want to
Scared
bring like
everyone
a bunch
was
of
shitting
people on
it?
here.
Really? No, I'll stay here.
Yeah, because there might not even be anything over here, so I'm just kind of like, if there's like somebody to fight, like a skeleton lord or whatever, I'll just do it real quick.
Okay.
See what kind of fort. Okay, that's just a regular boat. Whoa, who just shot me?
I don't know, but we are spinning.
Oh my god, these skeletons are like invisible in this storm. Alright, so does that mean we have
Fancier
a
chat.
Skelly Lord on the island? Any Skelly Lords on the island? That's what I'm checking for. No, no. Okay, no Skelly Lords on the island.
I genuinely don't know why that got
Unfortunate.
blocked, but okay.
Oh, you gotta love when they block the most random shit.
Yeah, it was kind of stupid, but okay.
So I was in somebody's chat, and like I guess they kind of say they're like family friendly, but I don't know. It's whatever.
Mhm.
Maybe they are. But their chat was so family friendly that I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty cool. That was cool AF.
No,
And it blocked
masturbation got censored. Somebody blocked. Yeah, but Automod blocked French one time.
French.
French.
Those damn Frenchies.
I know. I was like,
so
Automod hates
dirty.
the French. I hate the original too. It's a little gross how much it indulges in nostalgia masturbation. It's an adventure story when you get through the pages on pages of just listing old media. Yeah, that's why like I thought that it was a fun movie because they were able to kind of, you know,
Diablo
narrow down
UMF?
a lot
Oh
of
my
the
Lord.
narrow down a lot of the fluff, you know, the language of love. Yeah, and I don't even have my auto mod set to like high things, so like
I
that
have
was
mine
just like
set
straight
pretty
like
low.
auto mod. Yeah.
And it's crazy even with it set as low as I have it set.
Yeah.
Like I have it set up because like to catch like the typical slurs that you would see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I have like the profanity filter, like not the profanity, like yeah, the slur filter or whatever on. But like everything else, like should go through. Automod be finicky sometimes, but yeah, like I said, it
I was
blocked
gonna park the
French
boat,
ones.
but
They're still
That's cool.
coming.
yeah, but
I didn't see the boat. I just saw you. I thought you were swimming.
They can get
Well, I
rights to
appreciate it.
everything. But I do, like, I appreciate that they modernized it. You know, like, Master Chief was on there, and, like, Batman was on there. Like, I appreciate that they, like, made it relevant to, like, now.
They'll hit you with lightning. I saw it.
They did such a good job. I mean, I have my qualms with it, but I still thought it was good.
oh, I finally finished The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah? What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Have you played the game?
No, but I do plan on playing it soon.
Okay. I was just wondering.
I played a little bit of the game.
Yeah.
It almost out. Or is
Same.
that remaster for
The last
PC?
surviving furry, apparently. Really.
I did this one part with the clickers. And I'm not saying I quit because of the clickers,
Uh-huh.
but I definitely took a break because I like did the part like a few times, and I was like, okay, I just need to take a break, and then I just had better things to do with my life, so you know.
Better things to do than playing The Last of Us. I feel like that's an inaccurate statement. If you're gonna acknowledge any furries in the world, we can't act like they wouldn't be everywhere in the Oasis. I feel like, yeah, there would probably be a lot more
it?
like furries and like VTuber kind of like people. But like the entire thing is like they're all VTubers because it's all virtual anyway.
Okay, but they'd be like anime VTubers.
Right,
There'd
that's
be
what
a
I'm
lot of
saying.
that.
Like, yeah,
There's
there would
other
be
VTubers.
there would be a lot more like anime characters in the Oasis and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I would be like the most emo anime. Like if I was to VTube, oh my god, it would be
Are you gonna be Kirito?
Kirito. Yeah, and I'm gonna dual wield too.
I don't know,
Seems
like
about right.
maybe I'm just not creative enough, or maybe I just like have like such strong desires to be like what I consider to be attractive. Like I would just make like a really, really, really hot version of like myself. Like what I would consider to be like a hot version of myself.
Oh my god, that's so
is what
many
I would
minutes.
make.
Oh, fucking goddamn it! I really need to get a third.
So it would just be
monitor.
you?
I don't.
Shut up. No. A hot version of myself, I said.
God damn it!
No,
I
like
said what
no,
I
like and
said.
like I thank you, I appreciate it. But like what I consider to be like what I wish I looked like.
If you're not the hot version of yourself, does that make you the cool version of yourself?
I'm the
Hold
this is
this
what you're
ice.
stuck with version.
All right, let's.
Is
let's
it
get
really
this boat
stuck though?
Yeah.
Or is it blessed?
moving. That's a lot of mimics, Katie. Is that Heaven on High?
Like 20% of the current internet is furries, probably more. That will grow.
Oh,
the
Katie, it's
people-
because I
feel
haven't-
like
I didn't turn off OBS, or it. Oh, we got holes.
yeah. What are we getting holes from? Lightning?
Just a storm.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm trying to sail against it.
Okay. Oh look, it's watering our plants though.
Can I get front sail down if you could?
Thinking of a VTuber avatar. Just gonna look at a mirror. You guys are like you're being nice, but like that's not.
Do you want to date my
That's not what we're
avatar?
talking about.
We'll go far.
Oh, yeah, another one.
It's damaged.
The creaking. Did you guys ever hear the story? Did you guys ever hear the story about Astro and I were playing one time, and we were sailing in a storm like this, and you know it's creaking, and we're sailing and it's creaking and we're sailing, and then there's like a really loud just a really 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 loud pop creak kind of noise. And
Oh, like that one that just happened?
No. Like a really, really loud one. And Astro goes, "What was that?" And I just kind of like dismissingly was like, "I don't know, Astro. It's just like ship noises, like whatever." And like
The
completely
ship's
like
settling.
right, like I completely like ignored him and like disregarded him, and I was like, "It's just ship noises, like whatever, like keep sailing." And sure enough, it was our ship fucking sinking.
All right, front sail up.
Aye, aye, Captain.
It was literally our ship was fucking
Oh god,
sinking.
These guys got the aimbots on. Ooh, that was a close one.
And it was just like, he's like, "Yeah, that's ship noises, meaning sinking noises."
Sinking ship noise.
Sinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Sinking is a ship noise.
That's
It
just
can
my
be.
knees, don't worry
think.
about it.
To think Astro's loose lips sunk your ships.
Huh.
I think I've sunk more times with Astro than anybody else combined.
Maybe Astro's the problem.
I think it's me though, because Astro can play like by himself and he's fine.
So he says, but you're not there.
So
how do
okay,
you
so
know?
listen. So I have sunk with Astro probably like 4 times, 5 times.
We've sunk like 4.
Yeah, but we were doing like that world event. Like that was like we didn't sink because we were doing something stupid or because we got PvP'd or whatever. That was like
It was a intense, one of the hardest one of the hardest events that you can do.
Yeah. I'm not talking about like, oh, I crashed the ship or like we got PvP'd or, you know, the boat sank in a storm or whatever. So like, you know, whatever. So I think like 5 or so times with Astro. And then how many times we got sunk the once in PvP with you. And then yeah, we sunk a couple times while doing that world event, but I don't count that because that's world event stuff. And then
Why
I think
am
I've
missing right now? What the
sunk
fuck?
twice with Nate. So like, yeah. Y'all.
Okay, that's embarrassing. I'm just like missing everything.
Can't relate.
Alright.
Can't relate. Wow. Your eyesight okay? Oh, that wasn't even you.
Oh.
Wow, okay. You struggling, Chaos. You struggling.
I made the jump though.
Good job.
So if somebody wants to go around with the
Supply crate, yeah.
storage crate and get all the tasty
I
food.
will
What
do
is
it.
that? What
Wait, where
is
is
that
it?
in the water right there?
What I-
Here it is. Here it is. Who would ever get sunk? Apparently, literally everybody else other than Chaos.
How is there a Reaper's? Why is there a Reaper's 2 flag out here? I'll take it.
I need a gun. This is crazy.
Which
You
gun
guys are
using?
doing great.
The sniper.
Ah!
Yeah, the sniper gun is good gun, but can be very. Wait. Oh my God.
That's a long stream. Yes,
Oh
good.
my
Yes,
God.
go take care of
Oh,
yourself.
somebody.
Good night,
Wow.
Iggy. What?
Wow. Okay. Keep. Oh wait. I don't know. Ooh shit. I got.
What?
Jesus.
What?
Somebody
Say
already did
words.
this. Somebody already did this for it, and they undid. What do you have there?
Can you pick this up with the?
Somebody already did it for it, and they left all the loot here, but somebody sunk them and didn't take the loot.
Oh no.
Wait,
One second,
what?
one second.
So
Where's all their
we-
loot?
We might get double the loot
Where's their loot?
on the platform. I might move the boat so we can harpoon it.
Yeah, go do that.
Well, we gotta.
Oh. Yeah, I got
move
a
some
bunch of
stuff
stuff on
around
me
and-
right now. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Ow! I'm being
One-
stabbed in the butthole. It sucks.
Well, I mean, the first couple of times it can be rough, but you know, with a little bit of communication
Oh, that
and
works. I'm gonna eat
Sorry.
it. No, I'm like that works. I'm gonna eat a coconut.
There was
Quack,
a
quack, quack,
shiny, and I was trying to go for it.
It was me. I was the shiny.
It was you the whole time.
Oh, I just got stuck in a corner. I'm down.
Why is the ship moving so much? I'm scared.
because I'm moving it.
Oh, I didn't know you were up there doing that, so I was like, what's ship doing?
Hey, can I just
Right,
grab the
Lieutenant,
harpoon
right away.
while I do the repositioning of this?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No. It's I did the part with the wheel, and now the rest of it's just a little easier with the harpoon.
Oh, there you are. Ghosts are beating me
Do you
up.
need help with harpoon?
No, I should be okay. If you want to actually,
I will go shoot. What would you need?
oh, I was gonna say maybe we might need some turnage, but we might be all right.
Turn it.
Turnip. We need turnips.
Opulent curio. Take it. Take it. Oh, you did not take it.
I need to go get the box that
Oh,
I dropped before
God.
we leave.
Sorry, I had to jump in the water.
Why?
There's a bunch of guys. Ow. Ow. There's a bunch of guys who were bullying me, and I had an opulent curio. My curio.
Okay, now let's see if I can find.
See that tiny.
Let's see if I can find where I was.
Many bad man.
No, I think I was on the other side. You got this? I'm not sure I got this. I don't remember where I was. I was on the other side. Get out of here, get out of here.
What the heck?
No.
Okay, that was right.
Alright, are these empty? No. I think I was right over here. Was I not on this place?
Oh my God, I just.
It's right here. Up, where I am. You can find my name.
Galleons are so annoying.
Where the hell's your name? Go away, bro. I'm not even here to fight you.
But aren't you?
Oh, I was up one.
Oh,
Okay.
also, just if you guys see the boss pop
Thank you.
up,
Alright, let me actually heal real quick.
don't kill the boss because there's a second key we have to find to get bonus treasure, and it's just a big thing to do.
Okay.
Okay.
The music will drastically change to more desperado-y.
Los Flamenco.
More Desperado-y?
Yes.
Despacito. Something. Words I don't know.
Ribcage, you love the plugin that shows the auction house value of items. Oh yeah, that thing's great. Especially when you can see it on all the different servers.
There, ghosts up here.
And I freed the skeleton. Oh, there's a Maya.
A Maya.
Yeah, Maya.
No, Skelly, no! I have a skelly on my booty. Hold on.
No.
No.
Is it a bony booty?
No.
There's so much food in this.
Okay, he's gotten. Okay. This done, this done.
Okay, like a surgeon. I'm parked.
Like
Okay.
a surgeon.
No!
Cut for the very first time. Okay.
Come here, ghost. I saw you. Where did you go?
That was such a weird movie.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I'll be honest. It wasn't my favorite.
What movie?
Weird. Oh yeah.
The Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it yet.
I think it's like on the Roku channel.
It is.
There's a skull up where I am, but I cannot get because I have the chest.
Okay.
It's okay.
Coming. I see Zayd picking it
I
up.
love it when I go to jump on the thing and into the other thing. Okay.
No, leave me alone.
Okay, I am now on the island.
They're shooting
Okay.
at my
there-
booty.
Yep. I am also in a bad way. Running, jumping.
No, don't shoot at my booty. No, don't shoot at my booty.
Oh, it is. Okay, the track.
No, don't shoot at my booty.
I got you.
Pinks, your game title is a little presumptuous and judgmental. It assumes that everyone on the sea are thieves and doesn't give them an opportunity to create a fair judgment. What? It literally says I hate this game. But also hi, Spooky.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Nice shot. Nice shot.
Thank you. Oh, Jesus.
Spooky, how you do? How's things?
Okay, where's the key? Where's the key? There's the key. Got it.
It's a game title, not stream title. Oh, game title. I can't read. I'm stupid. I'm stupid.
Okay, I found key for bonus treasure.
Nice.
I'm now unloading bonus treasure.
How y'all been? I've been better. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a rough couple weeks. The mental health is not good.
Yeah. I feels that.
Yeah. But we
And here we are playing one of the most toxic games ever.
we doing it. Yeah, we doing it though. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Not League of Legends though.
Oh god.
No, yeah. I've heard League of
I'll tell you
Legends is
what. I
bad.
know people who are like, "Yo, Chaos, come play some League with us." Because I used to play League. I'm not gonna say
No.
like I had a good rank or anything like that. I'm not even gonna talk about rank. All right, but I used to play ranked. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
And it's like League of Legends literally brings out the literal worst in me when it comes to gaming. All right, like I just can't even. I have no excuse. Like
Yeah.
there's like, it's just I just become a terrible person when I play League of Legends. So
I'm
I don't
not
play it
sure-
anymore. People be like,
I'm
come
not
play.
sure what game does that to me. I can get a little sweaty in like Overwatch, like if people are just really performing poorly and making my, game harder, but I don't think I get toxic.
There's just something about League of Legends, like when you're playing it and like it's so like you can only
Paladin of Rush,
carry
two
your
healers.
team so much. You know what I mean? And it's like I always play support, so it's like my job to just like help everybody. And when people are just not good at the game, and I'm trying to just like play support.
Does someone
and
playing have a
good time,
cat nearby? Are you hearing meowing or are you hearing something else? Because occasionally you can hear my cat on the boat right here.
Okay, don't forget to get the cannonballs with the storage crate.
Like all you gotta do, meowing. It might be the cat. Like it might be the in-game cat. Honestly, she's right here. See. My problem, because I play support and DPS, but I don't play tank, is I don't like when you have a tank that doesn't hold the front line. Like for me, I'm like, go out there and push. Like, what are you
Like
doing?
you got
in the
one
back
job.
line? You have one line. Like you have one job, and it's to push the front line. Go in the front. And they're always like in the back, and I'm like, yo, Roadhog cannot be shooting people that far away. Get in there. I hate solo push tanks. See, but I like tanks. I mean, I don't like tanks that don't push at all. You know, because that happens too. All right, let me do a quick little look on the horizon.
Okay, you hear how the music went a little more desperado?
Yeah.
Pico?
It went more Despacito, you're right. That's a tower. I don't see
Captain's
any.
here. He's on me.
We've got
Oh,
we've got a Skelly Galley in the back. It's far, but it's back there.
Captain Krabby Pants.
Oh, he's downstairs. Okay.
Yeah.
Coming.
He's on me.
Did you guys hear me?
Coming.
Did anyone hear me?
Okay, now.
Like
They don't-
Skelly Galleon.
Yeah. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me and like nothing's wrong because nobody's answered me in a couple minutes.
Sorry.
Oh, I heard you.
No,
We're just busy trying not to die.
Okay, well you guys do that. I'm just gonna actually pee super quick.
I got a queue.
Oh, he was down here, but.
Yeah.
Oh, he's up here now. Oh, now he might be down there again?
He's down here again, yeah. Ow.
This should be it right here.
The bullets!
Hooray! Okay, so now take all of the treasure and put it here on this thingy.
You have to open. Thank you. I told it to open, and then it did.
You opened the box, and I came.
I'm wondering what happened that
They got sunk.
bottled. Oh, and they just never.
I found their grade 2 Reapers flag.
Oh, so there were Reapers.
They were Reapers, and basically, so what Reapers will do is to prepare for PvP and to just get a little extra oomph to their start. They'll come to a sea fort, finish the sea fort, get all the loot, and then just to raise their Reaper rank, dive down to do PvP, and like one win after a sea fort plus all the supplies. It's just like really good for supplying.
Goodbye,
up for
Spooky. Have a great night. Thank
reapage.
you for popping in to say hi. We miss you. We miss you.
Gosh. Ribcage, it's good to see you back in 14.
Thanks. Thanks.
I'm glad to
That was a-
see that you're playing
was a
14
quick little
and
go
enjoying
piss girl.
yourself. I almost have all of my I have like 1 or half a level in fishing left in 14 to do. And I'll have max gatherers. And then all of my I'm still working on my crafters, obviously. And yeah. Okay.
Dude, this sign is so pretty.
Living
How
Reaper
pretty
right
it is.
now, so you can try something actually okay to solo EO. So I saw that EO is supposed to be like Reaper's supposed to be good in Deep Dungeon, and I've played a little Reaper in Deep Dungeon. I just don't understand why people say it's so good. Like it's good, it's got good like deeps, but I don't know. It's not like it's Dark Knight with its shield. Its shield isn't that great. Okay, so we should be able to harpoon that.
The 12? What? What are the 12?
Yeah, I mean, level 90 Reaper is pretty dope. Reaper in general is just good. Not Reaper in this game, guys, but Reaper in Final Fantasy XIV.
Reaper in Overwatch?
There's a Reaper in Overwatch?
There he is. He's an asshole.
He's an edgelord.
Hey,
Yeah.
that means he's the best character here.
You would play as Reaper if we ever played Overwatch. I bet you 100% you'd play as Reaper. You
guys
got
have some dope skins,
you got
though.
you got Reaper written all over you. Like there he literally has the most emo voice lines. Like people will be like, "That was such a good shot," and he'll be like, "It's like, oh my god, yeah." Like he'll just like
also-
growl at you and stuff.
He's also Lord Salad Hands.
I love
Destiny.
salad.
No, he would be a Reaper for sure. Okay, after looking through 400 shiny sprites, what are the options? Let's go, Poorly, let's go. Come on, Poorly, let's go!
Okay, who has the storage crate?
I did... Hopefully we
Did you
didn't.
leave it on the island?
No, I didn't
or-
leave it on there. I just don't remember if I put it down or if I put
I
it
think I
above.
saw it
It's right here,
below
it's down.
deck.
It's right here, yep. I got it. No, I definitely brought it on. I just didn't remember if it was up or down. Here.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Sea
Summer's fun, but
Titan,
it's too annoying
Halacha,
letting mobs
Spiritomb,
live and waiting for
Palossand,
trance. Oh, yeah, that
Clawitzer.
would suck.
Hisuian Zoroark, Toads...
Having an interrupt for
Grim
mimics is like
Snow, River Room,
is
Ditto.
paramount. Oh, you guys see that
Cats.
treasure I left on the top of the fort?
Zoroark is mine. My vote. Yes. Can we get that?
Yep. Yeah, you can harpoon that.
Will it reach? That's too high.
I'll tell you what. If anybody decides to attack us, we are going to be very well stocked to defend ourselves.
Did you just get them off of the, Oh no, you're on there. Okay. I was gonna say, there's a bunch in the, rowboat. Words are hard. There's a bunch in the rowboat as well.
Oh yeah, tons of stuff in the rowboat.
Yeah. Okay, then here we go.
Dog Night, what's good?
I like
caught some of your
Zoroark.
Fortnite stream the other night. Last
I
week?
like Zoroark.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos, when are we gonna Fortnite?
Oh my god, I've never Fortnite. I've Fortnited twice in my life.
Let's do it.
Never again.
No, let's do it. Come on.
I'm so bad at Fortnite. Well, actually, now that they got rid of building,
Yeah.
I could probably do all right. There was just something about my brain could not handle the concept of, oh, someone's shooting me. Let me build this fortress surrounding myself to protect me.
I've never played build mode. I have no interest in playing build mode. Astro asked me a few months ago to play Fortnite, and he's like, it'll be fun.
And
And I
then
was
you
like, whatever.
laughed at him in his face.
No, I was like, whatever. Like, I'll play because you're asking. Like, whatever. And then, like, I was actually fucking cracked. So, yeah, Fortnite is, like, I hate to say it, but Fortnite's actually fun.
I typically don't like over-the-shoulder shooters.
Yeah.
That's what gets me too.
You like first persons?
I think I would prefer first person. There's just something about trying to like aim over the shoulder that I'm just like, why am I terrible?
It's not a shooter. I mean, it's we do yeah. Astro and I quest. That's true. Astro and I don't. Astro and I don't try to win. We just try to get this much XP as possible, and we quest. Yeah, there's quests, daily, weekly, seasonal. Yep. There's quests to unlock certain skins. Yeah. Mhm. Driver with the early crew. Look at you. Getting that chat currency. What are we waiting on?
Done. I'm just shopping carting the
Okay,
rest of the stuff.
Okay.
Wait. I keep thinking I'm hearing the ancient skellies spawn, but I don't see them.
Yeah.
Driving me crazy.
I keep thinking that's a ship, but it's that tower.
There is I think a sloop out there.
Oh! That's a big ship.
What ship?
2.
How big?
It's a galley. Oh, it's okay. I think it's a skelly. I'm pretty sure it's a skelly. Unless they're doing what we were just joking about doing and they have different color lights on their boat.
Okay, this is full. Let's get a move on. Alright. What do you see here? Let's
Yeah,
see.
that's a skelly.
Oh, I thought that was a skelly sloop out there. That's a big boy.
Yeah, I said it was a galleon.
Well, I looked was I seeing something else then off the other side?
You probably saw that tower over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely. I always mistaken towers.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I said it was a galley. I said it was a skelly galley.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Skigali.
Atomic Knight. I was watching the Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart. There's something about that game. I don't know.
It's Russian
looks
Bioshock.
it
Yeah.
looks frustrating. It looks
It is and it isn't. The part that annoyed me honestly was the glove that you talk to. Your character is just like really angsty against the glove for no apparent reason.
It wasn't your cup of tea. Yeah, I literally it's gonna sound really shitty. I got contacted to do a sponsored stream for Atomic Heart. They gave me the game and everything, and it was like, oh, if you and your chat accomplish like X, Y, and Z goals, like we will give you game keys to give out to your chat. And it was like cool in concept, but it was like that some of the challenges were like, what if I don't like this game? Then like I've like played this thing on like I've agreed to a contract, like, and I don't like this game, like, and it was just like it was just really weird. And some of it was like, oh, if you kill like so many enemies in the game, like we'll give you this game key, but like when you beat the entire game, we'll give you 3 game keys for it. And it was just like it just felt like a lot of like, here, do your homework and
Big
we'll
commitment.
give you game keys. Like it just the whole thing felt kind of weird.
But Dog brought up Atomic Heart. They usually play Fortnite on Fridays, but they were playing it Atomic Heart on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, were you playing Fortnite on Wednesday then, Dog?
Seems like a lot.
'Cause-
like it was just more like, what if I didn't like the game? Like then I'm stuck with it. Sorry.
No, no, I probably would be. I watch people play the game, and there's something about the combat. Like, Bioshock's combat was fun.
There's
I
a
really
rock on
enjoyed
our
that.
right.
Yeah, we should miss it.
Okay.
Maybe.
Iceberg.
The combat did
Iceberg.
feel weird, and I think it's because Bioshock had all the abilities you could use and swap out, and while this does have some, there just wasn't
Do
as
ghost
many. There wasn't
galleons
as
like
big
stop
variety.
and like put their
Yeah, they-
sails up?
I wouldn't say they put their sails up, but is there anything to our left?
What is that ship doing then? You think that's a ghost? It's gotta be. It's gotta be. They just stopped though.
Yeah, they do that sometimes.
It's just
I mean,
like
we
they
can
were
go
like,
fight it because
No-
the shrine's over there.
I mean, it's fine. It was just like there's a shrine there, and they like stopped, and I was like, this is sus. Like I've just never seen a ghost.
Because I wanted to do that shrine, and then
So let's go do it. Those are my favorite part. Those shrines.
Also, Atomic Heart had the weird sex fridge, and that was just unnerving.
a sex fridge.
Yeah, it was
Like,
literally, it was a
Go to
horny
the fridge and crack yourself open a cold one.
No, it looked like a fridge, but it was like an upgrade unit, and you go to it to like do your upgrades and stuff. But it was like a
Oh, kinda
horny
like-
fridge.
Oh, I have heard about this. I have heard about
Yeah.
this. But
And
it's
it
almost
made
like
me
in Bioshock.
uncomfortable.
Is there no way to turn up my sensitivity?
Instead of being horny, Bioshocks was just like a carnival one.
Controller.
Yeah, it had the carnival,
too.
or it had the
Hi,
like
Trem. Welcome in. How are
Vaquero
you?
one,
There you go.
where it was like kind of borderline racist.
I mean, you said it, not me. I mean,
I'm just saying it kind of was. There was quite a few things in Bioshock that felt a little, but
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
but the fridge, very very unnerving. Made me
Trem,
very
how was your
uncomfortable.
weekend?
Turned everything into an innuendo.
Innuendo.
let's take a trip to Uranus.
That fridge wanted it in her endo.
Whoa.
Well, I mean,
In her input.
we all can't be that popular, right? All right, raise some sails.
Which
Oh, that
one's?
one's already up.
I was gonna say the Skelly ship isn't on us yet, so we could probably do this shrine without worrying about them.
Yeah, they're over there. They're going the other way now.
Hit anchor.
I'll let you guys go down and do it because I have to grab a Coke anyways.
Grab a what?
All right, we just gotta put our anchor up.
Coke.
I'm kidding.
Coke.
A what?
Coca-Cola.
Grab a what?
That's the new way. Coke.
Coke. Had some good times in Autonauts. My babies are growing up so fast. What is Autonauts? Is that something I would like?
Autonaut.
Autonauts. fucking yeet. I was just about to ask the same thing. If it was something I would like, you're so thoughtful, Pearly.
Is it like Octonauts, the kids show that my son likes to watch? And
Horley would like it for sure. You build little robots to do work for you, to build more stuff.
Oh
and whatever.
my
It's like-
gosh.
It's like Minecraft with more emphasis on the redstone, I guess.
I was gonna ask if it was a game. Pink would like, I know, you're so thoughtful.
all right, let's go see what's down here.
You're so thoughtful, Pearly.
I hope this is a battle shrine and not one of those weird ones.
No, I want it to be a puzzle shrine.
God damn it!
Wait, where's the
Don't you wish this
Anthrines?
on me, Ricky Bobby?
Where's the Anthrines? Oh, is it still lower? Damn it. This is not the Anthrines, it is a fake Anthrines. You build and program robots, do chores like chop trees, cook
God.
food, farm, provide human babies. Needs like food, shelter, clothing, toys. Whoa.
What about what are you
Is it
doing to
on the
human
Steam?
babies?
Oh my goodness.
Excuse me.
I
Gesundheit.
came back.
No, it says
My
provide
mom
human baby needs.
Thing.
Oh,
Thank
human
you.
baby needs. Okay, that's okay.
Phew.
Oh
Jesus.
my goodness.
Thank you. I don't know where that just came from. I'm so sorry. Also, thank you for not being like, oh my god, are you getting sick?
Oh my God, it's the vid.
I hope you don't have a cold.
Are you
I
getting
hope
sick? How's the weather where you are? Tell me.
Tell me everything.
I
Tell
swear
me
it's.
your weather.
I'm
swear
naming all
it's
my robots after people on Twitch. I
allergies.
think I have one named after you. Baba Yaga hauls water to cooking pots. Oh my god, what do I do? What's...
I would do that.
There's sharks here, I'm gonna die.
I would put so much water in so many pots.
How do I
Where the-
breathe?
There's so many
There's
sharks
there
down
should be
here.
these little bubbles. You'll see bubbles rising up from the
How do I
bottom.
breathe, Broseph?
Oh,
That's
okay.
kind of like a normal human function. If you don't know how to do that, I'm not sure it'll help you.
Update on Mom on Disney. She ate a raw fish, and I said, "Oh my God, you're disgusting."
Here I come,
What?
here I come. I'm coming to save you.
Aw, man, this is one of those not cool ones.
Is it-
Not cool ones. What is it if it is not cool?
No, come back. Oh.
The scream. The scream I just let out.
So many sharks.
Oh my god, no! There's like 4 of them, and they were totally ignoring me until I shot at one, and then all of them turned around and charged at me.
Okay. Are these
Oh.
bubbles? Is this the bubbles?
Yeah, I used the bubbles.
How much is it? Is it cheap? Can I buy? Is it cheap?
Oh,
Is it
alright.
cheap? Oh gosh,
There's an ammo
Bubbles.
box.
Bubbles,
there's an
how
ammo
are
box
you?
just
How was
back
your
where we
weekend?
came.
20? That's not
Back
bad at
the
all.
way you came.
That's not bad. 20 is not bad. I can get it next by Jake. Alright, let's not die this time.
Oh, did you respawn back at the boat?
No, I respawned right down here, which was pretty awesome.
Oh,
actually.
thank God. I would
I
be so
know.
mad if I died and went all the way
I
back
just
to the
checked.
boat.
You
The
make buckets.
The swim
Oh
down
my
here is
God.
ridiculous.
Did you hear that, Yaga? I make the buckets that you go get water in.
Teamwork.
We're a little teamwork couple.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Weekend was good. Apparently, I'm being used in this game for something called breathing. Bubbles? Oh my god.
Bubbles!
Bubbles, thank you for continuing my life.
Sometimes you can forget to breathe. It's a thing that happens.
Apparently, Broseph didn't know how to breathe.
You
So-
are manually breathing.
What is breath?
Or the
I mean-
Manuel, you mean?
It happens.
Manuel?
Since we watched
know
Wally
Manuel.
last night, the Manuel.
Manuel.
I tried my
Try to
best.
play
You're doing
Conquer,
great,
same
Bubbles.
thing. Manuel.
Uh,
Manuel, love you
sorry,
long
Broseph doesn't look
time.
like I can join Pixelma. I have a
it's
quest.
like a shark shrine down here.
Yeah, what is you asked for a combat. You did this. You did this. How do you feel? How do you feel, Chaos? You did this to
Feel
us.
great.
You cursed us with this.
Oh God, I'm out of ammo.
Oh!
Switching
I'm
to
about
sword.
to be. I'm about to be. I'm about to be. I'm about to be.
I don't want to talk about
Oh,
what just
shit.
happened.
It's okay, I
I'm
killed
so
them.
glad no one can see what just
Thank
happened.
you.
What just happened?
Nothing.
What
You
just
should be
happened?
streaming at all times.
My little
All right, so we've
friend.
got staff is up. Staff. Oh, these are all. This is not puzzles. Wait, this is. So this is a coral. That's a gem.
Oh, there's an air bubble
Oh.
up here.
Oh wait, air pocket.
Air pocket.
Hooray!
Can I grab the shark? Come here, shark.
And chain. Okay.
Okay, so
Is it a puzzle? 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 Yes, it is. I see the puzzle.
Oh, okay. So we have to
Okay.
like move the
Yeah. Okay.
stuff
So,
around?
can someone go up there and get closer to it so we can see? So the chain needs to be all the way up.
I don't see.
You can't break the chain. Stevie next said no.
Oh my god.
I don't even
I
see
hate
the ones
you
we're
all.
supposed to shoot.
They're down in the. They're here. They're right here.
I got the shark.
Okay, so this one's down. And this one is all the way up. Okay, so chain is all the way up. No, I lied. Coral.
Coral.
Wait.
Coral!
There's two sets. I lied. Okay. No, chain. Chain is all the way down. Gem is middle. Coral is up. Okay. Chain is all the way down.
I think that's middle. Yeah,
That's
that's middle.
down. Okay, chain is down. Gem
There's shark meat
is.
here.
Gem is
we
middle.
need a-
Coral is top.
Coral. I don't even see the coral.
The coral
Coral.
one is next to
Is this the
one.
coral?
Where'd shark go?
This is coral right here.
Where'd shark go?
Oh, what's this one then?
What one? There's gem and there's coral. That's
I
a different.
lost
That's the other one.
shark.
Is that the return one?
Where'd
No.
it go?
This
Well,
isn't
is
the
it?
return to boat.
Oh, it
one?
is.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Return to sender.
Coral. I just saw coral. It's next to the other one. Did you get it? Did
No.
you do it? Oh, coral's right here. Okay, coral up top. Yeah, we did it. We did it. So it should fill up then if it's right. Yeah, good job. Who did the last one?
We did it. Now
Who
there is
Who did the
another
last
one. Well, there's this other one that I think we have to keep getting higher and higher.
Yeah, no. So the next one is right here.
I'm looking for treasure.
The next one's right
Oh.
there. So gem is the bottom, coral's the middle, and chain is the top for the next one.
Where did everybody go?
There's a thing
Where
that
are
shoots
you?
you up.
Oh, up.
Where-
Go. There's a geyser right there. Press turn around. Yeah, right there on the geyser.
Oh,
I
okay.
need whatchamacallit to put this.
Put a
thing
good
in.
clip in Discord. Yes, I definitely want to see. There you go. Okay,
Hi.
so gem down, coral middle, chain top. All right, here's coral. So coral.
Oh
that's top,
shit!
Coral middle, right? Yep, coral is middle. Gem is what?
Oh, I'm dead.
Bottom. Okay, there's gem, and chain
Alright.
is top.
I'm coming back.
Okay. Okay. And then where is? There it is.
Just despawned, which was very jarring.
Okay, it's gonna raise again. And then we'll go
Coming
up
back.
another level.
I wonder where it's
There's
gonna
the
put
thing
me.
up there. Okay, so there's
Oh, good, it put
there's
me-
our return chest there. Has anyone found any treasure?
I found one piece of treasure.
I haven't either. And you put it back on the boat, I'm gonna guess. Alright,
Well, I put it in the return thingy.
that's
What
fine.
is this? Oh my god.
These are bad guys.
Oh my god, there's so
Watch out, I'm
many.
gonna blow this thing up.
What the?
I didn't know you were
I'm
back
about to
yet!
die. I'm about to die. I'm about to die. I'm about to
I'm going.
I literally, I come out of the water and it's just like,
I said I'm gonna shoot this!
I'm okay. I'm okay.
In my defense, I did say I was gonna do it.
Gonna do it.
All right, I found a treasure
That's
chest.
treasure enough for me. Bleh. But thanks. But also, bleh.
What is this stuff over here?
How dare you say
Ammo
nice
pouch.
things? I did. I gave you a half a second warning. If you couldn't do anything with that, it's your fault. I gave you
I know. I
plenty.
should have just got good.
I gave you plenty of warning.
Yaga. Is anyone trying to kill us yet?
Yeah, I've been looking. But no one's.
Oh my god, I vaguely remember
That could have gone worse.
this. I found treasure! Do we have mermaid? No. Do I drop down? Where do I drop for pickup?
Did I
It's like
did I
right
literally
now.
break my leg?
Probably. What happens if I drop right here? It'll go down all the way, right? If I drop there. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay, hold on. If I drop here, does it go down? It does. It went all the way down. Okay.
Wait, does that shoot you over there?
Yes, I think so.
Ooh, that was not good.
That seems terrifying.
Oh! I'm dead. God damn it. I'm just gonna go back to the boat and
Okay,
respawn in.
I've
and-
almost got all the treasure that's here, and just dropping it below, and then we'll grab it and put it on the thing.
Alright. Well, there's a thingamabob that we have to go through. So
What
I would not
thingamabob?
drop the treasure below.
Well, there's
Oh, beans.
there's not a mermaid up here.
Yeah, but you can see a door that you walk through. It's like a bubble door.
Not where I am,
It should be like right near you though.
but not on this side, like where the
Yeah, I'm
treasure
saying-
is. So I would have
Yeah,
to
but-
literally do this jump puzzle and hop across a dozen times with all this treasure, or I can drop it below the next level and I can go down and I can put it in the
You-
mermaid.
Listen here. Sounds good. I'm
Okay,
just
thank
saying there's a treasure mermaid right there.
No, there isn't.
Right over there, yeah. Where I'm shooting all the people.
Right, but look where I am.
Where are you?
Look at me.
I'm looking at you. You just jump across
Right.
that way.
So I have to go. I have to pick up the treasure and I have to hop, 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 hop across
Oh yeah.
every time.
Just do it.
Or I can
do
just
it.
do what I just did.
Just do it.
Oh my god, I'm gonna literally kill you.
Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill
Turn
me, don't kill me, don't
PvP
kill
on
me.
right now, you bitch.
All right, so go put the treasure in the thingy.
I am. Is there a
We're
reason why
professional
you'll pick
crew
up
chat.
Literally anything.
Hey, dog. Thanks for being here.
Can I also
fantastic-
remind everybody that KS and I have literally been friends since we were like 15. Like we're not just
I
shooting
don't-
on each other.
I've never met this person in my life.
Oh god.
I don't know them. Why does this look fancy? does this look like
JJ,
this
thank
box?
you
Oh.
so much.
Right?
That was very
Am
kind
I
of you.
going
You didn't
crazy?
have to say that, and that was very nice of you. Thank you.
What about, maybe there's something to, hold on. No.
Right? Doesn't that look like it's supposed to be something?
Yeah. Like, can we bomb it?
Hello.
Hello. You have got your cock?
I got it. It's in my hands
Oh,
and in
beans.
my mouth.
Whoa.
Nub nub nub. Bubbles.
The bubbles, Duke. The bubbles.
Is there another one?
Oh, God.
Here? 2, 3.
It's a wishish.
Okay, so this is gonna. Be
Oh, it's really all the way down. Okay.
What does that sound? What does that sound? There's a red skull and there's a loud angry sound.
Would you
oh,
like
you're
to-
fine. You're fine. Just
We're not
don't
in the
go
skull,
towards the
though,
red
right?
skull.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just sitting in the bird's nest. I'm just crying.
The
I'm
bird's
gonna-
nest.
I'm gonna bring up a gunpowder barrel to blow up in front of that door.
Oh, that's good.
Nope.
JJ, I'm glad.
Oh,
Make sure you read both compliments.
like in that rock.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Flags.
Oh shit! I have
No,
died.
don't, beans.
I
It's okay,
found
I'm
you in
coming
this
back.
community, and
What
that's
kind of
treasure enough
beans?
for me. Blech.
All of the beans.
Blech. Thank you.
What kind? Is it like baked bean?
So
It's
many
like-
beans.
Pain beans.
Pain beans? What flavor is pain?
Yes.
Is it like spicy?
I don't know.
I
'cause
feel like
like
pain would be
spicy.
minty.
I feel like it'd be,
No,
like,
no,
minty.
no,
really
no,
sour.
not minty. I feel like pain would be like spicy. Oh, it burns.
All right,
Is it
chat.
hot, hot, hot?
All
Or
right,
is it
chat. What flavor is pain?
Pain
I spent points. You
without
must accept.
love.
I accept. But
Pain.
blech.
Oh, what the hell is that? You cocksucking mother. Sorry.
Oh, someone's spicy. He's in
Whoa.
bed.
Super. Well, and like my leg's broken. Like I'm barely able to walk again.
Well, that's why
Whose
I
fault
the
is
hell?
that?
And I got this stupid chicken
That
on me. I
seems-
can't heal
That
because
seems
if I
like
eat
a you
chicken.
problem.
Okay, I'm shooting the barrel now.
Ow. It did
Nope.
not work. Oh, you
Did
need
nothing.
the thing. You see the yellow? You need the
Hi,
thing.
Borb. Hi, Borb.
Oh,
Let's just
probably like.
shoot
And then it goes
somewhere.
here. Look, see? And then it goes here. See?
Hello, Moon.
You need the thing. They go there.
Oh. Oh, so we didn't get the key.
No.
Dusky.
We need key.
Oh, and there's a skull over here?
Oh my gosh. And a book? Did we get the book?
Ooh,
A book?
Oh my gosh.
don't know how to read.
Me the oh, there's 2 out of 5. Oh my gosh, I'm going back in the water. I missed one. I might die. Ooh, I didn't die.
Everything
But...
is for squares.
Pain is banana flavored, sausage flavored. What is pain?
Rub
Baby,
some
don't
beans
hurt
on it,
me.
kid.
Don't hurt
No
me.
more.
No more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're welcome, chat. You're welcome. Pain is TikTok pink sauce flavored. Oh my gosh, hilarious.
Pink sauce flavored TikTok. Alright, so the key must be. I feel like the
I'm
key must be
gone.
somewhere nearby, because how are we
No.
supposed to carry that key?
It's gotta
Oh,
go
no.
back.
Oh, I just fell down and died.
Did you actually die though, or did you just like break
Yeah.
your legs?
No, like I'm dead.
Oh, okay.
Just like above you, just sort of dying slowly. Look at those
okay.
sharks coming for me. Oh gosh.
God, why?
Goodbye.
Oh yeah, that my leg is
I was
broken.
coming. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay.
Pick up Luna. No, I don't want to pick up Luna. I want to pick up the treasure key thing.
You do want to pick up Luna. Everyone
Yes,
does.
everyone wants to pick up Luna all the time.
Kraken.
How Timon came poorly. Oh my gosh.
Okay, where could this key be?
A dog wheezing is making me kind of nervous. What just happened? I got sharked, but it was like immediately.
Ooh.
I hear
Shark
weird
attack.
groaning. Is groaning normal?
What?
That was sudden, right?
No.
Like he just shoved me in that corner and completely took advantage of me.
What?
You heard me.
Someone call Olivia Benson! SVU!
You heard me. I did not stutter.
Oh, you know what? You know what? The treasure key might be. Actually, it might be forward. We might have to go ahead. We might have to
Hi,
go forward.
Dirge. How are you?
I see a shark.
Welcome in,
I have a
handsome
bag of
friend.
bacon.
But there's no nobody trying to kill us right now up top.
No, I'm just shooting a shark.
Oh, okay.
It went away from me.
There's no way that just happened.
Okay, so we're gonna go. Now we're gonna go. I think we gotta go forward. I think we gotta go forward.
Arguing with an
I-
Uber rep, you fucking tell them, Dirge.
I try not to think.
All right, so we're gonna go this way.
Not that way.
Hello, Dodge.
A woo?
Hi,
George.
Dirge.
Dodge, how are you, Dodge?
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Another shark. I'll shoot it.
I
Okay,
need
let's
air.
see. Is the key over here?
Being nefarious. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
I grabbed all. I found more treasure.
So did I?
You did?
I stored it in the mermaid.
Mermaids like storage? That's gross. I killed a shark!
Oh, you're right. But you found the same treasure I found. I think the key might be in that chest there.
Okay.
So I'm gonna open it and see.
Why'd I pay you guys 2 days early? Listen, Jean, I don't need this. Listen, you tell her. Wait, why are you not taking?
There's a mermaid.
Coral
up here.
relic.
Where'd that shark
are you
go?
not the mermaid I need?
This mermaid's flagging me down.
Right here.
Is it flogging you down?
Flogging. A flogging
What?
of ale.
Meet with the nearby merfolk to retrieve a treasure you stored at the merfolk statue. Okay, collecting.
Okay.
Gimme.
Oh, cool. My headset decided it
Oh,
was not
don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Don't do
Oh,
it yet.
I did
that
it.
for me?
It took too long. No one told me until now.
Okay, so we
Wait,
can't go
wait.
through that door until we shoot it again. So just put all the treasure near the door.
Why? Why aren't you putting it in the mermaid?
Where's the mermaid?
Right here.
Oh, we'll put it in the mermaid then.
What? What? Don't yell at me like that.
Do it. Yell at everyone always.
What the
I'm gonna
fuck?
try.
How do I get out of here?
We
You
live
do
here
not.
now?
You can use the mermaid to
You are a mermaid now. That is your home.
return to the ship.
I'm okay. I can't.
There's a mermaid statue in here. Wait, where are you? Where are you?
I lost my
I'm
shark.
still
though.
way back there.
Huh.
I can't get
Any-
through the bubble water place.
Oh, there's a thing you shoot above it.
Oh,
Come back to the door.
hold on. There's skellies I got to deal with.
No,
I really thought that the treasure
skellies.
chest might have had the key, but I guess not. Or you know what?
has
Maybe we can't use the key unless we have the quest for this.
I was gonna say
particular
some of
time.
them have tall tales attached to them.
We
I don't know. I don't typically do a lot of shrines.
Yeah, some of them have tall tales attached to them.
But where did my shark go? I killed a shark. I wanted its sweet,
Woo!
sweet flesh. and
Would
now
you
I
like to
can't
pursue
have
the
it.
charge? No, the fuck I would not. If Ariel flies, would it be considered an aerial assault? Haha, that jerk was mermaid for you. Oh, JJ.
Okay, I
Oh,
guess I come back up
JJ.
to the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, so you should be able to go through. Yeah, now you can go. Hi.
Hi.
Piece of loot, just like bouncing on every wave possible.
Oh, did somebody send the mermaid back up?
I did not know.
The mermaid's up there.
Oh, there's
did
another one. Okay.
Wait, did someone send the treasure mermaid up?
Yeah, I think we sent up another one.
I didn't send it up. So we have to get the loot then, because it'll start despawning
Nope.
if we don't get it.
It's right here.
Can't. Oh, there's a bunch of sharks on you. Like a bunch. There's 3.
Alright, Broseph, I guess we
I
can
have
go.
no ammo to shoot
Do
them.
we
Let me
just shoot
grab
this? And then we leave.
my. Can't grab ammo.
Then we go up. Loot! Loot, Chris! Oh, JJ.
Oh,
The
Jay.
power of puns.
Power of positivity.
I know. That's his other account, which always makes me laugh.
Oh my god.
Let's grab-
All right, I'm back on the boat soon. 'cause
There's
I died.
one piece of loot that's just like out of range. It's just barely.
Alright, I see. Ooh, I also see the sharks. Ooh, I see the sharks.
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. Someone distract them and someone get the loot.
I like loot. Loot likes me. Hey, 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 boo, boo, hee hee.
This loot does not like me.
I know,
'cause
I can see you're
cannot-
just barely out of range.
It's
Like, I see the
it's
rope.
right there.
I see the rope too, it's so funny.
The sharks
Oh.
have killed me.
There.
You
This
make
is the
great
Hungering
bait.
Shrine, so it makes sense that there's all these sharks around.
Goodbye forever.
Grab it. No, grab the harpoon. It's like obviously you want that. There we go. It's like pick up a trident. I was like, no. That's not what I asked for at all.
That's literally the opposite of what I want.
Yeah.
Okay, now where to next?
Do we sell this stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
ship
can go back to the Grave Outpost and sell.
Everyone's all paranoid about having treasure on the boat now.
That's exactly what it is.
This look is your loot. This look is my loot from California to the New York Islands. Do you know what Poseidon's favorite gum brand is?
Oh,
Trident.
we have
Oh.
a server merge.
Oh, okay. Server
I hate when
merge
it
is
does
okay.
this when I'm turning because it's gonna make me overturn. Come
Oh,
on.
because you're not gonna be able to get out of the menu, yeah, or the pop-up,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I get it.
Yeah.
Your server. Oh my god, we turn so much now. Jesus. Okay. All right.
It's like I get it.
Jesus.
I get it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you
Oh.
want to keep turning? No.
Ah. Everything over here looks wiggly.
Wiggle, wiggle,
Because
wiggle.
of the chests, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I guys just puking.
Getting like vertigo looking at these.
Yeah.
Everything's spinning. I'm just like. "Ugh."
Hello,
right,
other
let's-
JJ.
Let's shut the shales.
Shit the shells.
Sales.
Speaking of JJ, not that JJ has anything to do with it, but you know who I miss?
Who? JM.
JM.
Yeah.
I think about them sometimes.
I miss JM too. JM
I'm just like, I
was-
hope JM's okay.
Me too. I like never want to pry, but I'm always like, why? Where did you go? Why did you leave me?
Please don't go. Till the night falls there. Alright, so we should be going... We got some of the shittiest wind ever.
I know.
We're
Where does the turtle go to
straight
get gas?
into it.
A shell station. Wait, hold on.
I have so much.
sure.
I have so much stuff to cook. By the
We're
way,
heading straight
There's
to
an island.
at high speed.
what?
There's an island.
Anchor,
We're gonna hit the
anchor,
island.
Anchor, anchor,
Hit
anchor, anchor.
anchor!
I'm going. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
Not enough. It's not enough.
Just
it's not
drop it.
enough.
Let
I
go of
dropped
it.
I
Why?
dropped it. I dropped it. I dropped it, and I don't know. I dropped it and I walked away. Oh no.
Everything's fine.
No,
Oh, there's
no.
people on this island. We gotta kill them, anyways.
Oh, great. I'm gonna.
Somebody wants to go repair the boat. That's great.
I'm doing
I
that.
will. Okay.
This is all part of the plan. There's a captain on here. We'll get treasures. Good job, guys. All according to plan. Oh, no, you don't. What?
Oh, you might. I gotta say, the guns in this game, not the best.
I like the guns in this game.
There's like 0 aiming reticule. I don't know how much drop there is. Hey, there's another rowboat. I don't know if we want a different rowboat.
Oh yeah, if we want to like just drain it of its supplies with our storage.
I
Great, that'd be
can't
great.
believe I did that.
Oh yeah, it's got some wood and some canyon bells.
Yeah, we keep getting all these cannonballs. We're gonna have to actually fight somebody with them.
I told you we have to find the Kraken or the Megalodon.
I wish there was a way to like make them spawn. The only thing I've heard is that the Kraken typically spawns
When
on
there's no
boats
other
when they have
worlds.
loot on them. So
I
if you have
thought
no
it was when there
loot,
was no other world events.
they are part of the world events. That's true.
No, but I've heard like when there's no other world events is when a Kraken will spawn.
No, because basically they only put so many world events out at one time.
Oh, that's what I read. Is
So
that...
if there's too many world events out, then the Kraken won't spawn because there's not enough, like, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Give me your
Yeah.
meat.
But yeah, so there needs to be at least some world events open.
Mhm.
But
Oh, see, I
where it
read somewhere
decides the
that
s-
it was there has to be
Yeah.
like nothing. When there's like nothing else is when that one will spawn.
Got the meat.
wait, what the hell?
What?
Oh, what is? The skeleton was trying to eat my face
Oh.
Did you not want
from the
that?
back.
Whoa.
I think I hear a mermaid statue. Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I think
Where's
I do too.
the supply? Here it is. I'd love to give you a small gift.
Bone Man
First of
hungry
all,
for
you
show.
know that it won't let me say no.
He's
You
probably
won't let me
hangry
say no.
too.
And second of all, oh my god, don't! I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
Don't you eat bone man.
I didn't
Bone Man,
mean
why
to.
are you so hangry, step bro man? Step bro Bone Man. The other day I sank somebody.
Yeah, he's over here.
And they must have buried a bunch of
yeah,
treasure.
right
Well,
there.
they did bury a bunch of treasure.
Bon appetit.
And I took their maps, and then I like found the treasure, and I
Yeah.
was like, ha, in your fucking face. And then I dug up the. Oh, you found it, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
It's
they-
We get
amazing.
two?
Thanks.
We got two! Let's go.
Ooh, I can't count.
Did we get three? You can get up to three with them.
I got one.
Yes, Pearly, it's wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful.
That's what mods are good for. Yes, you're great. You're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing great, honey. Oh, can somebody grab me?
Yes, my hands are full. Hold on.
Whoa,
Guys.
yeah, you can't ask
Whoa.
people to just do a grab of you.
like
I
a
thought
grab
that's the
too,
whole point.
Broseph?
I thought
Yes,
asking
please.
is giving consent. Shouldn't I consent to the grab?
Pink Ritz of the Caribbean. Oh my god, guys, that's our community name.
Pink can grab me anytime.
The Pink Ritz of the Caribbean. That's our community name,
Yes.
guys.
Indeed. Unless.
Unless.
Oh, I didn't think that far.
Oh, fair, honestly.
Hey,
We got
Broseph,
so many raw meat to cook.
when
Yeah.
you get the Pixel mod community server set up, can we put our Minecraft beds together?
Giggity.
Yeah. Tee.
Tee-hee.
Yes.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
here's what we need to do. Well, I can do some of this while we're cooking. We got to put the sails up.
Every stream will be rated R.
Arr!
Oh
And
man, that's a good.
X marks
I
the
gotta
spot.
remember. I gotta remember next time we play Sea of Thieves that's a good stream title, JJ. This stream is rated R.
It's a good one, yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay, we gotta put sails up, guys.
Sails up. Sails up. Sails up.
Yeah.
Sails up.
Or
Before we
one
put the
that-
anchor down back up, because we'll just keep running into this island if we don't. No. Let's keep the anchor down for now.
Sails
Oh.
are up. Oh no, not all sails.
Yeah, we just gotta make sure all the sails are up first
I'm an
before we
idiot.
start raising anchor.
10 out of 10. 0 out of 10. Okay.
Oh.
Sails are up.
Boo boo.
That's the closest one I got. Ooh, I gotta ask Eris for a pirate emote now. Guys, I need partner because I have so many emote ideas and not enough emote slots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's
I'll just have to-
start
Guess I'll just have to pay.
partner push.
Guess I'll just have to pay for some viewers
hash brown
Ugh.
partner push.
because I'm not getting them naturally. I sent
All
you a
right,
screen.
So if we raise anchor now,
Oh, thanks.
let me check our map here.
Pixel for partner.
You
I mean,
want to raise
it
now?
would be great, and I would love it, but
yeah.
it's
Okay, so
very
I gotta go
unrealistic.
south. Or I guess we could just go Daggertooth. I guess you probably don't want to do like the sea fort again, right?
Is that what we did last week?
No, that's what we just did before we did this.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care.
Here you go, Chaos.
What we
I
did
just
last
trying to
week
make
was
sure
a
it
little
turned
intense,
away.
but other than that, yeah.
I just want it turned away enough that we weren't gonna slam back into the island.
No. Only
Yeah, we'll
slam
just
into
go to
the
the.
islands.
We'll go to daggers. We'll go to daggers. I just want to take some time. I don't know. I mean, obviously, people probably know how to cook, right? In the game.
Yes.
We just have so much raw meat. I want to start cooking it so we can turn it
Dirty.
into a post.
I could do that, I suppose. Let's see if I remember how to actually, like, tell when it's done, though. It's just like a poof of smoke and it's like an audible sizzle, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a sizzle involved.
Been able to hear it. It,
And
like,
depending on
my
what you're
end.
cooking, like fish, the eyes turn white. The second you see like the eyes fully white,
I'm hitting accept, but I'm not allowed to say anything. Oh, we are shifting.
I'm confused.
Why?
You're making faces.
Me?
Yeah.
I have a face.
You do have a face.
faces so overrated.
Whoa, that was close.
Is that done now?
Feed the demon. So fast.
Oh, that's a sea.
It is
Cool.
cool.
We're coming up on the land here.
Very fast. Very fast.
Very fast, very fast.
Yep. I'm trying to find Dagger's post. Dagger's whatever
confused.
post. If somebody could look at the map and just kind of.
I'm putting up some sails so we're not.
No. We're
going
fine.
up.
We're fine.
We're fine.
We're
We're fine. He turned.
We
I'll
were
look at-
going like Mach 10.
Where are you looking for?
For
Sorry,
the
again?
crew, hydrate for the crew.
Dagger or something outpost.
Dagger.
It should have been like right there.
No.
Is it that big island?
Right there. It's right there. Dagger Tooth Outpost, right there. It's to
Well,
the
right
south.
there doesn't help me.
No, I was showing Broseph. To the southwest.
Oh, I was like
Southwest. It's right here.
southwest,
Like it's right at the
Southwest.
bottom corner, right there. Dagger Tooth. Yeah.
southwest.
West. We got something.
Like
gotta
it's right there, and I'm like, I don't know where that
let
is.
me see the
it's
map.
right there.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I was like, it's right there. It's right there.
God damn. God damn. I thought it was
Part
gonna
of
be
the
like north of
crew.
us, and I'm like,
Part of the ship. Part of the crew.
Oh, I wonder if there's anything
Part of
under
the
the
ship.
water here.
Part of the crew. Part of the ship. Part of the crew. Part of the ship.
part of the ship.
Part of the crew. Part of the ship.
The ship.
Part of the crew,
Hydrate. Okay.
part of the ship.
It's hard to hydrate while driving the boat, but I'll do my best.
You need a big long curly straw.
Oh, a silly straw. That'd be so silly.
A super long one too.
That'd be so. What are we doing? Why crunch? Why
Right
crash?
now, all of China knows we're here.
Pig. Listen, I wanted to know what it was, and it was a pig.
Amazing.
I forgot those exist. I need one now. What? Part of the crew, part of the
Thank
ship.
you for that hydrate. I appreciate it.
It'll be the last straw. Oh, a crazy straw.
Okay, Blind Man's Lagoon is going to be
Silly straw,
somewhere
yeah.
near us. Hey there, Broseph. There's an island in front of us. Are we going to miss it?
Turn a little bit.
You know, maybe next time you could tell me which way to turn, but I knew.
Oh, I thought you. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Do you know? Do you know?
Just a little bit to that direction over there.
You should probably turn and avoid the island.
Hard right! Actually, that would be in our favor.
Or
As
there's
far
me
as
who's
the
like, stop, 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 stop,
island
stop, stop!
It's like, what are you doing? My best. That's what I'm doing.
Well, that was your
You
first
are.
mistake. Never do your best. It sets people's expectations. It's not good.
Okay, I see the
I don't
sovereigns. Very good.
I feel
very
really
good.
stupid.
Why?
Because I can't figure out if these fucking sharks are cooked or not.
I think Kale said that he had problems too. 'Cause they're hard to kill.
the snake is the hardest, but
Yeah, like shark usually gets like golden brown and like
oh, it probably would be best if we didn't have all this blue light.
no, it's not the blue light. It's not the blue light at all.
It's almost done. It's not quite done.
I just thought that there was like a sizzle and like
Okay,
a
raise
puff of smoke.
tails. Typically speaking, on the meat, yes. On the fish stuff, not so much.
Done. The edges got dark.
Yeah,
think
but
it-
like I thought
it's
it like goes
done.
like psh when it's done.
No.
I don't want
Why?
to leave it too long so it burns, but like
No, I think it's done.
this is quality entertainment, guys.
Okay, we overshot where
Okay,
we need to
so
go, but
hold
it
on.
should be okay.
So it doesn't switch to cooked shark. Like it doesn't change to cooked shark. It just says shark.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah, it won't say cooked.
Ridiculous.
I know. To the sizzle rail. Oh my god, you guys are just full of it tonight.
Are we gonna?
For
bump
shizzle my
Jack into the
nizzle.
dog?
Snoop Dogg.
Gib.
Right, I think
I would,
when the
I would
edges
try
go
right a smidgen,
black is I think when it's cooked.
because then we can like bump right into them and just like hover over them.
What you talking about, Willis?
Gib.
Let's just go for it. Oh wait, that doesn't really help. 'cause-
Gib. Gib.
You guys, stop harpooning things.
It's not. I'm not. It's too far.
Yeah, I'm saying stop trying.
But I want to steal them. All
We're
of
gonna
them.
be- We're gonna
Oh,
be going in. We're gonna be going in at the perfect spot.
Yeah. Gently bumping the dock.
No. I want to steal all of their sticks.
Gently bump the dock.
Yeah, don't like just straight crash into an island next time, guys. Jeez.
Gib.
It worked out.
It's one way of doing things.
Yeah.
Did it work?
One way or another.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get
I'm
you,
gonna
get you one way or another.
another.
Oh my
I'm
god, what
gonna
is going
I'm
on?
gonna get you.
Okay, now if you want to harpoon us a little.
Bubbles, you okay?
Told
Bubbles,
to do
what
no such
happened?
things.
Bubbles, what happened?
Bubbles.
Oh, ketchupy?
Okay, Chippy.
Oh, ketchupy.
New wave of shanties. Yeah, exactly, Ghost. Exactly. We
Is that a new Pokemon? Oh, ketchupy?
What up, Ghost? How you doing tonight?
It happens. It happens to all of us sometimes.
All right, let's see if we
It happens
can
to me every time I open
knock
my mouth.
out this
The
treasure.
ketchupy? Listen.
I'm cracked. I'm cracked.
I know folk type sometimes, Kay.
Okay. Yes.
You're doing
Right.
great. You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing great. But there is a rule in my chat that I will purposefully read
Got
your
a new job, Ghost?
mistypes.
Word.
I will purposefully read your mistypes to be a jerk. So just be prepared. It's kind of my shtick.
I have no idea how I'm doing this crazy harpoon action, but it's working out great.
You're doing amazing. I'm just seeing stuff fly by me. Here, there's
Pink
one
likes
you
to
can't get.
bully. Yeah, I bully.
There's one
Don't
you
you
can't
ever-
reach. Hold on.
Don't you ever count me out.
My god, I just turned over and looked at his stream and it's like pow, 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 pow.
Pow! Hold on. There's this one here too.
Months ago, I was at a stream where the streamer was talking about favorite childhood medicines. I tried to say I love Pepto-Bismol, but instead I ended up saying I love Pesto-Bismol. We're gay, we can't words.
Shit. Who
It's
put
one
that
or
down?
the other.
God.
It's either straight and spell or gay and not. Words are so damn hard.
Words are hard.
Words are pretty difficult, yeah. Would rather gay. Listen, bitches be cray.
That'd be cray. Man, imagine if we had an emissary right now, we'd be making so much money.
Imagine, a magissary.
But then people would be trying to kill us.
Yeah, we don't want that. Words are hard. Gay and not.
Doing
I
good,
was like,
doing
I
the
don't know how
same
to
thing
say
home every
that.
night. That is dope.
Straight
That's
and
dope.
and
Doing
able
home
to
every
spell
night
or
is
gay
awesome.
and not. Able to spell. Bring me money, peasants. Bring me money, peasants.
So we're making so much money right now.